Hello and welcome to another episode of Rolling with Difficulty. This time I've bogarted running the show from Austin, who gets to have a nice little break of sorts, and we're gonna be playing something that's specific to my interests. We're gonna be playing a little Girl by Moonlight. Woo!
By the light of the moon.
Oh no!
Yes,
the giddiness is evident in your voice.
Previously did watch Sailor Moon together, and that is largely the inspiration for the session. But we are not alone in our Girl by Moonlighting, as it were. We are not the sole witches that will be defending our distinctly not medieval town from whatever foes may approach it.
Don't say that. They'll actually think it's medieval.
Yeah. Just because you accidentally called them villagers earlier doesn't mean the audience needs to know that.
And I'll do it
an
again.
Inside joke from 8 minutes ago, already confusing the audience.
Got a quick turnaround time for a podcast.
We've got some lovely guests joining us today from 5 GMs in a podcast. Stick around for the mid-roll for more on that. We have the lovely Tanlynn and Adam joining us today. Say hello.
Hello, it's me. I'm Tanlynn.
Woo!
Yes,
That's
and
Adam.
I'm... Yeah, Cam did it for me, and I'm Adam. We're so excited. I love being Girl by Moonlight. It's pretty cool.
5 games in a podcast
usually-
or a trench coat?
Trenchcoat podcast.
Trench
We
coat,
are a
trench
podcast.
coat. Yeah, we
Gotcha.
are a podcast. We're all inside of a trench coat all the time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It gets hot.
Better have
It's
some good
really
ventilation.
hot.
We don't have good ventilation.
It's possible you're not sure what a trench coat is, Red.
But we've immediately-
show me a trench coat that shows 5 people in it, and I'll.
Yeah, we had to get a special made, and the person
Yes.
who made it didn't know what a trench coat was.
Well, we've immediately gone off the rails, but I'm so excited to have you guys here to go off those rails with us. We're also joined by our usual cast members while he's still on his sabbatical. So we've got Noir, Red, and Austin here to round out our appropriately 5-man banded group of magical gals, as it were.
Dibs on smart guy. I call smart guy.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yes, who would have thunk that the graduate student would play a graduate student?
Hey, you had to pry it from my hands this time. I almost fought you for it.
We're all graduate students.
Yes,
well,
we are.
college
Well,
students.
college.
No, in game.
Well, on the note of giving away the game that we are indeed all college students, why don't we start the game, as it were? And we are going to open, actually, on a scene that none of you are in, as we enter a dark, swirling void. In a crystalline nest, surrounded by pure dark magic, sits a woman. An impossibly long cloak and veil cover her features, but as a hand pokes out, we see it is nearly skeletal. From the formless sorceress Morgan Le Fay, a voice cries out, "Soon my spells will be complete, only a bit longer. Now, where are my loyal minions? Squawk! Clamor!" As her voice rings out, echoing around the aviary, 2 feathery foes come hurtling into the ground in a wash of a clatter of feathers and claws. We see one Squawk, very nasally and conniving, scramble to his feet much more loosely and moving in a way where he seems to lose a feather with every single sweep of his arms. And he quickly finds his footing, joined by Clamor, the much more stoic of the duo, chest puffed out with a red crest standing stiff at attention. "I require more essence for my hexes. Go out tonight to fetch more, and this time try not to be thwarted so easily." "Yeah, it's not our fault those witches get in the way. Bunch of goody two-shoes." Excuses, but fine. Take this. And we see Morgan presents a talisman covered in an ivy motif to the 2 bird brains. "Use this charm to double your power and bring me twice the essence." And the 2 scrambling together, Clamor flying in a straight line, and Squawk swiveling all over around him, squabbling the whole way through as they leave this phantom realm, as it were. And we follow them to watch the clouds part, and we zoom in to Magnolia, a sleepy, mid-sized town nestled amongst dense forest. At once, it is the pinnacle of normalcy and banality, and yet every visitor cannot help but feel a hint of something mystic as soon as they walk onto its cobblestone streets. Ivy seems to grow just a little bit faster here. The night sky is just a little bit too full of stars for how much light pollution there is. The magic of Magnolia is not easily identified, but it is not without protection. And that protection, currently, all of it, is attending their various classes and duties at Magnolia University. Let's go, Sappers!
Let's go, Sappers!
We have to immediately move past your Rita Repulsa impression.
Can you give us a good like Esmeralda laugh? Like
Okay, so I wanted to do an Esmeralda laugh, but I got a cold, and so I can't. My vocal range can't reach it, which is why we're doing a Rita Repulsa.
Is that like the Ojo-sama?
Yeah, it's like but yeah.
Cool. That was good. That was good.
But, thank you. Your foes are in motion, but you do not know this yet. You are all busy with your day-to-day lives here at Magnolia U, where you are all students of various kinds. We see first. Let's go over to an art class. The arts building, pretty old brick, covered in a lot of overgrown plants. There's some nicely trimmed shrubs in front, but mostly the inside is pretty utilitarian. There's a lot of big studio spaces and only one or two lecture halls, in which one of sits two of our protagonists, sitting at the front taking kind of spacey notes as she doodles some suspiciously tarot-looking images. Sits Melanie Sterling. Red, would you like to tell us a little bit about what your character looks like?
Certainly. When designing this character, I had to Google the phrase dark academia outfit inspiration, which was a new low point for my 2024. Melanie is very much the slightly toned down goth aesthetic. She's got a lot of jewelry on, mostly silver. There's bangles, there's rings, there's necklaces. She's got these two little circular glasses, black hair. It seems like it's got a curl to it. And she's got this black lace shawl over an otherwise kind of sensible-ish, albeit rather outdated outfit, very long skirt, boots with a very slight heel, kind of like bell sleeves, and she is half paying attention, and she's trying to give it like a full 3/4, but it's just not coming today, you know. She head is in the clouds, attention is not directed where it's supposed to be today.
It's hard to pay attention to the lecture as you're a professor. Professor Donahue is at the top of the class, and she's your classic art school teacher. You've got the big shawl scarf going on. I'm picturing in my mind the teacher from High School Musical with the big updo and the big shawl, but a little bit of a gaunter variant of that. And she's droning on about her art history lesson, talking about the change as we enter into the modernist era and what the question around what is art really becoming prevalent in the space. And you're zoning most of this out. You're like, I this isn't my portfolio. I don't need to know what to do about it so much. But you're pretty intent on your doodles, and so intent on your doodles that you don't notice a couple rows behind you are a fellow art major and another one of our lovely ladies of Magnolia. Tanlynn, would you like to tell us a little bit about your character and how they're enjoying this lecture?
Yeah, so I see like the camera like kind of like slowly pan over to this impossibly like pastel pink glitter girly sitting there like face in hands with an open sketchbook just full of the same face over and over and over again. And she's got like brownish like medium deep skin and very brightly like pastel dyed hair with the roots growing in, and she just looks stressed. Just as she's sketching.
What has got the lovely Roux so stressed during this lecture?
Her mind is elsewhere. She has this big gallery coming up at the end of the year. She has to be the best because some people in class are better than her, unfortunately. And she just can't get this one person out of her mind, and she needs to focus, but she can't.
It's a tough lecture to focus on, especially staring directly at the head of one of those folks in class who you may just want to surpass. But we'll leave you two to finish out this lecture as Professor Donahue continues to drone on. And yes, then of course there is the dawning of the contemporary era, in which the question somewhat becomes even more blurred as we get into this era of performance art, and we'll fade away and go over to the chemistry lab, where we've got another one of our ladies engaged in the midst of an experiment, about to pour one beaker into another, ever so focused. Noir, would you describe your character for us?
Yeah. You see the camera pans on Aiva Evermore. I don't know hairstyles, but she's kind of dressed. She's also dressed in kind of a dark academia sort of vibe. Turtleneck with a blazer, a skirt with knee-high boots below.
Closed-toed for the lab, I assume?
Of course, naturally.
Yes.
Open-toed boots?
Open-toed boots.
Yeah.
They have to exist. Someone's gonna email us and be like, look at these boots.
No. But she has...
Oh, no, we're fumbling it. Start over.
Oh, I found them. They're bad, but they're usually not knee-high.
Okay. She has short hair. I'm thinking just like Ami from Sailor Moon.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like the like Ami hair. I can't describe hairstyles.
Like a bob, sort of.
Short bob.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There we go.
She's on the surface. It looks like she's intently like measuring out these beakers and these liquids into these various flasks and cups, but inside she is just kind of going through the motions. You get the sense that maybe she's perhaps done this before, and she knows exactly what she needs to do in order to correctly and adequately pass this class.
Very nice. Well, I'm actually gonna have you just roll, do a fortune roll for me, just to see how well you are actually doing at remembering what is the best way to pass this class. So you're gonna roll, no modifiers or anything to this. Roll 2d6 for me.
Can I take the higher number?
Yes.
That is a 4.
Okay, you're doing pretty good, actually. You seem to have a decent handle on it. Not perfect, but you could say that imperfection is arguably a way to make yourself look like this is the first time you're doing it. So you're rolling with it. Your mixture is in an acceptable range for chemistry things that Sophia knows about, and you're managing to give an air of effortlessness to this, as it were.
Cool. You see that she writes down in this notebook 3.5 grams of sodium this time around. Nothing amiss seems to occur.
Very good. Well, we'll leave you to your experiments as we go right through the window of the lab to the outdoors, where we can see, poking around some of the trees that surround the campus, one of our token nature-savvy gals is doing a survey of the local fauna and flora, as I said.
Guys,
restart
it. We fumbled it. Guys, back to the beginning.
She has a short bob.
Open-toed boots.
Open-toed, closed-toed, open-toed, steel-toed boots.
Research. Austin, would you describe your character for us?
I am playing Cassia. Just call me Cass Delaney. And you see, poking through the various pines out here, you see a girl with kind of medium-length curly brown hair. She's got jeans on and hiking boots. The jeans are like covered in paint splatters, and she's got a white t-shirt that has a picture of a spotted lanternfly that says "Kill Me" underneath it.
This is an actual shirt that Austin has.
Yes.
Yes, it is. I thought it was appropriate for the character, though. It's important to put pieces of yourself in the character. And yeah, she is poking around right now. She's doing a survey on what season is it right now?
It is autumn.
It's autumn, perfect. So she's doing a survey on. She moves, underneath the oak trees. She's doing a survey. It's a mast season, so lots of acorns, and she's collecting, counting. She's trying to get a count on how many acorns that have fallen have been eaten by weevils, how many she thinks are going to germinate right now, things like that, like how many seem viable from the actual stock. So she's doing a bit of a survey that's there, poking around right now.
Awesome. I like that Austin has been playing a fun, different game for himself. That is, how quickly can he mention weevils in an episode? And it seems like the answer is sub 20 minutes, which is pretty good.
Great. If you told me first, we would have had it.
Well, your collections are going pretty good. You know, everything seems to be within pretty normal ranges, but for Magnolia, it can be a little off. So you're keeping very special notes on everything that is growing out there. As we watch, Adam, can you roll me a fortune roll? Just roll 2d6, take the higher number.
Sure.
Whether we cut to you or just do something completely different.
I got a yeah. I just
That's,
ignores my.
that's
I got a
hilarious.
6.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm
Awesome.
gonna do that to Wally next time we start a game. Write that down.
The rugby ball that had just been thrown wildly asunder does not slam into your good friend Cass, and instead lands off to the side, and you're able to run over and retrieve it and take it back to the field, where you guys are in the midst of practice because the big game is coming up. And Adam, tell us about your character.
Beatrice Beets Bailey, go by Beets, runs over, blazoning over a sweater because it's a little chilly right now. The number 1 jersey. I am the loose head for anyone who knows rugby terms. I'm big and I get up close and hit people and engage with people a lot. And so I kind of trot over. I don't think I have cleats on right now. I think it's like the tail end of practice. So it's shorts for mobility, sweater with a jersey over it, braided hair so I don't lose hair, and socks that are the dirtiest socks you've ever seen in your life. And I run over. I pick up the ball. I think I toss it a little closer to Cass, just a little closer, just to kind of disrupt whatever they're doing.
Spook me a little bit. Oh, sorry. Got a little absorbed there.
In the bugs.
The bugs are part of it. Yeah,
Right.
They're part of the survey. There's a lot more going on here than just bugs. I'm boring.
I see bugs and dirt.
Yeah, that's what's exciting about it. Practice is good. It's a practice, not a game, right?
There's no way. There's no way that's the question
no
you just asked me.
I knew it was just a practice. I'm just trying to make conversation. I wasn't sure. I don't know more details to ask.
I appreciate your probing.
Well,
You guys have very nicely led into the next kind of phase of the game, which is more downtime where you get to kind of interact with each other. Classes are all about to let out, labs are about to wrap up, practice is probably in still full swing, but Cass, you're just finishing up your survey. It sounds like you two might be making a connection about your respective hobbies, if that's something you'd like to pursue.
I was going to ask if I could come watch practice, actually.
Yeah.
I found all the bugs I'm going to find today.
Yeah, I think that we're wrapping up, actually, but I was going to see if you're done with bugs, maybe we can go do something.
Hell yeah, like homework?
I don't want to do that.
Okay, yeah. What did you have in mind?
We could get food.
Food? Yeah. No, we do need that. All right, yeah. Let's do, yeah.
How much of your time do you spend doing homework? Guess?
How much of my time do I spend doing homework?
Yeah.
It really depends on how much time I spend sleeping. It's the other part.
Oh. Yeah, let's go get food.
Sounds good.
Awesome. It sounds like you guys are empathizing with each other. You are learning to understand how the other one works. And so I would love if each of you could roll me an empathize roll. This is going to be... You should see on your sheet that under your abilities is empathize. If you have any dice in that section, let me know. Otherwise, you're just going to roll 1d6 and let me know what it is.
I have 1d6. I have 1 in that.
Cool. Then if you have a point in empathize, you're going to roll 2d6 and take the higher number.
Understood.
I got a 4 and I rolled a single d6.
I also got a 4.
Awesome.
Ties,
Then
twins.
For your connection, you each gain three links,
Whoa.
3 segments on a link. So you can go ahead and note that on your sheet for later on. If you'd like to spend any links, you both have 3 of them.
Wow.
And as you two rush off, do you have a particular kind of food you would like? Are you looking for your standard campus, French fries, mozzarella sticks? Are we more going for like a salad? What's the vibe?
I need protein.
Protein.
No, yeah,
Need
I don't
protein.
think Cass is like a vegetarian or anything. I think she's a little more adventurous with food, so she'll follow Beets' lead.
Sweepstakes. There's a great place right on the side of campus. It's huge for everyone. People love it. You get a ton of greasy food for really cheap. It's a college student's dream. Nice. They have something where they put mozzarella sticks on pizza. It's insane. And as you two are rushing off to get dinner, your art lecture is letting out. Roux and Melanie, the day is yours. You have studio spaces to attend to. You have free time to decide if you would like to pursue your artistic interests or any other kind of interests you might have.
Yeah, I feel like Roux's kind of the first out the door. Just so much on her mind. She has to get out. She has to get these ideas out, or otherwise she might die. So she practically blitzes out of the place to go to whatever open studio rooms are available to just try and figure it out.
Yeah, with no trouble. There's it's a weird, almost like attic floor of the building. Like it feels like there was a loft up there that they've since kind of bricked up a little bit, but there's studio spaces up there that are nice and secluded, and you've kind of chosen a corner of that you really made into your own. There's a lot of your works in progress that are occupying that space, and everyone sort of knows to like, oh, okay, that's Roux's spot. That's where all of her work lives. So that's where you make a beeline for, and you're able to pick up whatever project you'd like, or to sit and really be in whatever it is that you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah, I think she goes in there to think about drawing, and then doesn't, and just ends up standing staring at the wall.
Oh, just the biggest mood.
Just so in her head all the time.
Melanie, you are also leaving this class. You do see Roux dart out right at the beginning. Do you follow, or do you have your own activities to attend to?
So I think the thing is Melanie does not have an accurate read on Roux. Melanie is pretty observant, but not at all emotionally intelligent, I would say. So this is mostly like, oh, she seems like she's in a hurry. I don't want to bother her. And that's as deep as the thought goes. What Melanie does know is she normally, after school, meets up with a friend of hers who is not involved in any of the witchy stuff, but really likes getting her fortune told. And Melanie's like, it's better if she hears it from me than someone who doesn't know what they're doing. So I should get to her before she, attacks one of the local newspapers to find the horoscope section or something like that. So
probably
I think
a good idea.
Yeah, so this friend's name is Dahlia, and I think Melanie knows which coffee shop Dahlia is in right now, because the Queen of Cups came up while she was stream of consciousness doodling, and she's like, yes, compassion, security, I understand. It's the one coffee shop we always hang out in, that makes sense. And is just making her way there, but isn't afraid to, let the wind take her a little bit along the way, Just look at all the people moving around, not understanding a damn thing about what's going on under the hood.
You go to this coffee shop. It's right next door to Cheesy Pete's, the cheesesteak place where Beets and Cass are off having their protein powwow. You find the Green Bean, it's called, and it's deceptively named. There used to be a nice big green bean farm in the area, but this coffee shop's pretty cozy on the inside. Lots of big couches that are all mismatched, and you're able to very quickly find Dahlia, and has claimed a little coffee table space for you guys. You could do any tarot readings you might be interested in. Red, could you pull a tarot card for me right now, just to see what you get?
I already did. It was the
Amazing.
Knight of Cups, which is following the heart, idealist, romantic.
Interesting. Well, you can interpret this how you like for your friend Dahlia, but it almost feels as though you're doing a reading for a different member of your group, and we're actually going to go back over to Roux. Roux, how has staring at the wall treated you?
It made things worse, as it usually does.
That's never been my experience.
I think, she was standing there so long, she started, seeing, when you, stare at a wall for so long, you start seeing, pictures on the wall, and then the pictures just, kind of turn into faces, and then it's her crush's face, and she's like, I have to get out of here. So I think she, just rushes out to just go find something else to look at.
Spiral.
As you are rushing out, you leave the doors of the arts building and you rush across the quad, and this is very close to the rugby practice field where you see across the way, and I'm borrowing a phrase that you gave me in the kind of pre-production of the session, a saltine of a person is wrapping up from practice. You see sandy hair, wearing like somehow neutral colors despite being in the Magnolia U rugby uniform, as they're sort of nonchalantly picking up their bag and sauntering off to find their after practice activities. It's Penelope off in the distance.
Stop in my tracks. Just like staring from afar. And I think she thinks about going over there, but as a stranger, I'm not allowed to make a connection. That's like one thing about like the playbook. And so she's staring from across the way and then just turns in the opposite direction of where they're going and just beelines that way.
Awesome. You in your rush to turn away, you don't see that Penelope gave you a little wave hello before turning into the clubhouse as well. Just a missed connection across the board.
The 5 of Cups. That's not a good sign.
Oh,
Please continue.
I did fear that Red might just be constantly doing tarot readings this entire
I
session.
brought a
I feel like
prop,
it's coming
and
to
I'm
fruition.
not afraid to use it.
We love
Powerful
it.
tool.
Brought a pop to
I
a
should've
podcast.
Should have brought my chemistry set.
Yeah.
I should have brought some bugs.
But
There are probably bugs around, statistically speaking.
you do live in a nature center.
It's a winter, Red.
The bugs are still there. They're just asleep.
The bugs are inside now.
Yes.
Ah.
Put the bugs inside the room with me right now.
If you're cold, they're cold. Bring them inside.
I do let the
love that.
spiders live inside. I'm like, whatever, guys, you got it covered.
Well, with that bug PSA out of the way, as Roux is rushing across the quad, leaving a building on the opposite side of said quad is Aiva. Your chem lab is out and the day is yours, similar to our artsy ladies. What does Aiva get up to when she is not in the lab?
I think Aiva is very focused on their overall mission of trying to defeat Morgan Le Fay. And so, is this the... Red just showed
Red held up another tarot.
the
card.
magician.
Yeah, I just drew the magician because the question
Is that
was like,
relevant?
Well, it was like, what does Aiva do? I was like, I wonder what Aiva does. Oh, the magician. Okay.
What does that mean? I'm not listening to you.
Yes.
The universe
Very
is
focused
talking.
on Morgan Le Fay. I think, is this the time that like she can do an investigation on like...
Absolutely. Would you like to... is there a particular aspect? So Morgan Le Fay, the great evil sorceress, has been sending her two goons to transform the townspeople into some sort of hollow version of themselves by stealing the essence of their soul or whatever. And you guys have been thwarting this for some time. So, Aiva, is there a specific element of Morgan's plans that you would like to investigate?
Perhaps the methodology in which she uses to steal the essence from the townspeople.
Okay. Very, very cool. I am going to have you, let's say, have you make an analyze roll for me. Do you have any points in analyze?
I do have a little pip in that.
Great.
Come
so you're
on.
going to roll 2
We all
dice.
knew Noir was thinking of Pip and Analyze.
Noir, I want to be the smart guy evermore.
Shut up. Just let me live.
You guys have points in animals?
So that's 2, right? Because I have 1 point in analyze.
Yes, so you're going to roll 2
Okay.
dice.
That's a 6.
Yeah.
Whoa! So you are extremely successful in this.
Smart
You're
guy. Smart guy.
So for the investigation, you are going to gain some links. So go ahead and take 4 segments of links on one of your lines so that you can use at a later date. And in addition, you said you want to know about the methodology of Morgan Le Fay's plans?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gather that there must be something that she needs a lot of power to do, that she's building towards something bigger, because otherwise all of these weird little scattered events that you've dealt with are just too sporadic and disconnected. The one thing she always does is try to collect some sort of force of personality, the essence of a person in town. You've seen it be the bravery of a firefighter. You've seen it be the sense of smell of the baker. There's been a kind of a broad stroke spectrum of things that person very strongly deals with or is at the core of their being. Sense of smell was a really bad example, but it's going to be in there anyway. And
Baker
that
gets COVID and just turns into a supervillain.
Unfortunately, yes, there are no more baked goods in Magnolia. The taste of the baker.
No.
Our greatest failure.
You gleam that it's
down.
not the specific.
This is our end game.
It's not the specific.
You fumbled
essence.
it. Started over.
It's all right.
Roll it back. Start the episode over.
Oh man. Aiva, you gather that it's not important to Morgan what specific essence of a person that gets kidnapped. She doesn't need a specific person. She just needs a lot of the essence in order to power whatever her big magical spell is, or whatever her big magical plan is. And so she's essentially farming Magnolia.
Gotcha. I think once I find, once I kind of finish my investigation, I'll go back to our mutual hideout, because that's like the only place I know where everyone is going to gather eventually.
Yeah. You flip over the conspiracy board in your dorm room to be back on the chemistry side instead of the Morgan Le Fay's evil scheme side, and you start hustling to you guys' hideout, which I am really excited about the hideout that you have all developed for our session. On Magnolia University, the tree in which the town and the university gets its name is this huge magnolia, and nestled in the top of its branches is a historic tree house. Does anyone have any treehouse design features that they'd like to call their shot as being a part of this treehouse now?
I just love that
Telescope.
it's a historic
Telescope,
treehouse.
all right.
Of course it is.
It's a historic treehouse with a telescope. Big sign over the door that says "No boys allowed."
I was
And,
gonna shoot my shot on the "No Boys Allowed" sign.
And Ava, you're able to scuttle up the rope ladder, no problem, and climb inside. And it's a suspiciously bigger on the inside treehouse. You notice there's a lot of nice bean bags, and it feels like there's room for this space to expand beyond what it is currently. But right now you guys have it set up with some of the relics from your previous fights. You've got some feathers from your avian adversaries, and a couple little trinkets that you picked up from thankful townspeople. So it's starting to really feel like a good hangout space. And right now you're the first one to arrive.
We've done a lot to make this tree house a tree home.
Yeah.
There are dirty
There's a little
socks everywhere.
sign.
Yeah, working on a front
Beets
for
has
that
her
one.
own corner.
I know, there's surprises. They're all over.
Something your magic hideout has not yet developed, has not spawned in, is a washer dryer. So there are a lot of dirty socks. Laundry
The mini
pile is
fridge,
growing.
And they're just like,
I think Cass is teamed up with the person that she understands the least right now. She has a line down the center of her dorm room in tape that's like, your stuff is on that side. Mine's on this side.
So this is kind of an open part of the session. We've got some time before you're all going to convene at the treehouse as night falls and whatever foes you face may come out. But I would like to open it up to the players. Does anyone have a specific activity that they were interested in, or another player that they'd like to spend some time with? Of course, we've got Cass and Beets are off having their big protein feast. But to the rest of the cast and Cass and Beets, is there anything that you guys would like to accomplish before we get to some mystical goings-ons?
Yeah, I guess while we're eating, I will ask Beets. Is that seconds or thirds?
Fourths.
Okay. So do you think you're ready for the big game? With all the practice done?
If everyone else does their jobs, I'm always ready. But the team's really been slacking in the weight room, and everyone keeps talking about all their papers and stuff, and no one's working out hard enough. So when we lose, it's not going to be on me.
I have a class ability that allows me to ask a player at any time, what is your character really feeling? But I kind of feel like it's irrelevant with you.
That is
Rock
up
solid.
to Adam.
You see, you say that, and Cass, snorts a little bit of water out of her nose, cleans it up, and says, well, if it was only graded on passion, then you'd be the winner by far.
rated.
Yeah.
Rated?
Scored?
I think Beets just takes a moment and is like, you're right.
You know,
Amazing.
I often am, yet people always act surprised.
You know, similarly, everyone tells me I'm too blunt, but I just tell the truth, you know?
I spend a lot of time worried about what other people are thinking.
Why?
Not in about me way. I mean, sure. You know, who doesn't wonder, but I spend a lot of time worried what people are worried about. It's nice to know someone who I don't need to spend extra effort trying to deduce that. If you got a problem, I know what it is, and if I know how to fix it, I probably don't, but if I do, easy peasy.
I'm glad I've alleviated you of your self-made stress.
Well, Lord knows I have enough. I don't need to be making my own.
I could listen to hours of this, but
Yeah,
I think we
no.
do have to introduce a new character into the mix. Roux, you turned away from the rugby field rather quickly to escape your crush Penelope. Her? Yes.
Yes.
And you find yourself wandering towards the street that contains both the Green Bean and Cheesy Pete's, and both of them have pretty large windows in which you can see the combination of Beets and Cass, and also Melanie and her dear friend Delia. So if there are either that you would like to enter and join, now is your opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I think she's standing there again, just watching people from afar, looking between the two choices. On one end, this person she's deemed her rival artistically, and on the other hand, another friend maybe. She's not super close with a lot of people, and then her cousin who always gets on her. So, which is the lesser evil here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Treehouse.
Treehouse is an option. The third secret
Treehouse
option.
is an option. Honestly, like, seeing two is like, well, I could just go be alone, actually, and we'll go turn around and just head straight to the base, because, like, well, if they're here, no one's gonna be at the treehouse, right?
Of course. Yeah, you
It's
are
dinner time. Who among us?
dead certain. Yeah, Roux, you weigh the odds, and you're like, no one's gonna be there. I bet Ava's still in lab, and so you're confidently climbing the ladder. You go under the "No Boys Allowed" sign, enter the treehouse hideout, plop down in a beanbag, and when you open your eyes, you are face to face with your dear friend Aiva Evermore.
Oh! I didn't think anyone was gonna be here.
Roux, you appeared this time. Must have been the sodium.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Perhaps there's nothing that needs to be said. But how are you?
I'm fine. Yeah. Always. Really good.
Is there a roll I can do to, like, suss that out?
Oh, who wants to make an insight check now, Buster Brown?
Just the pitch of the voice just going higher and
Like,
higher.
Yeah.
possessed?
I'm gonna actually have, rather than Aiva rolling to suss it out, Roux, if I could have you roll to conceal.
Yes. Okay, so if I have 1 dot, I roll 2.
You're gonna
And
roll
take
2
the higher?
d6s and take the higher number.
I got a 6.
Whoa, you
hot
are
tonight.
the way you would describe it is that really the way to know Roux is to experience your art, and so just having a conversation like this, you're able to hide anything about how you are really feeling from Aiva. And Aiva, Roux is a solid wall. You're gleaning no information other than what she presents to you.
Oh, well, that's very good to hear. Normally you would be worrying about Penelope or some other, but
At the mention of Penelope, just ow! Just into her hands, like psychic damage. How do you know about her? What? Am I that
yeah, I think that
obvious?
is a detail. You haven't told anyone about Penelope, right?
Yeah, I think
Look
the only
over
people
and
who-
it's smudged in the window. It just says Penelope over and over again. Like she's
I
been
mean, like-
breathing on it and then
In a
writing
heart,
the name.
yeah.
anyone who like glances over her shoulder while she's doodling would see the same face, and I think Beets has caught on because we're related, but she hasn't outright said anything.
Yeah, so I guess that does strike you as interesting that Aiva would know. But,
Yeah.
I mean, would you like to talk about it?
No,
No? Well,
not at all.
would you like to talk about why you don't want to talk about it?
Well, I guess that's more palatable, I guess. Well, I just have to focus on my art, and every time I draw, it's you know who, and it's really frustrating because, Melanie's great, right? And I see her art all the time, but I feel like I can surpass, But this is just really not working for me.
Why are you so eager to...
I think what's attempting to happen here is that you are attempting to either help a friend recover or make a connection, Noir. And
Sure,
so
yeah.
I'm going to allow you to do this before... we're going to role play out the rest of this conversation regardless, but I kind of want to see how it goes. So if you could, Noir, roll an empathize check for me.
Okay. I have none in this, so I'm going to roll 1.
So you just roll 1.
That's a 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah, actually, you are reading between the lines to a full therapy session in this treehouse, and the conversation continues with both of you having gained the, I'll say, make a connection with a friend. You get 4 segments or links marked on your sheet.
So do you get a segment as well, Roux? Even though you can't...
Yeah, because technically I can't make a connection and I can't help a friend recover. But I don't know how that would work for me.
But you didn't do it. I did it.
Exactly.
So
You've been
maybe,
friendship, baby.
Yeah.
Friendship is a thing you do to another person.
Yep.
Yeah.
I cast inflict friendship.
You said 4 links?
It is 4 links.
For both of us?
4 links, ironically, also Beets dinner tonight.
That seems like that's lowballing it.
Yeah,
I think.
that's the appetizer.
I'll go ahead and I'll say... Or what were you going to say, Sophia?
The stranger sheet, Tanlynn, technically, you are right. You cannot make a connection. I'm going to rule that you still get half of those links, though, because I want you to have some fun stuff to play with. So you get
That's
2 link segments, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was fine not getting any. It was totally cool with me.
I want you guys to use the fun abilities. We're playing a one-shot, baby. We get to be loose and fun with it.
Yeah. I love having rules and breaking them.
Hell yeah.
They're just a suggestion.
Yeah, they're just a suggestion.
Yes. Now, Noir, you had a rule you wanted to talk about?
Not a rule. I will go ahead and I'll just sort of respond with, like, why are you so adamant to keep these aspects of your life separate? I've known you to be a rather compassionate person in spite of your standoffishness, I suppose. And I think that there are some ways that you can have these 2 aspects of your life work in tandem and help each other.
I really hate when people make good points. I mean, I just... I like things. I don't like changing things, and things could be just really simple, And if if I do that, then things change. Then they're not simple, and that's where she ends.
I think it's at this point that the audience is sort of... I think the audience is is starting to hone in on the fact that something is not particularly on the level with Aiva, but the rest of the oh my god, I've completely forgotten our name, Heartwood Coven.
Heartwood Coven, yes.
Yeah.
The rest of the Heartwood Coven knows that Aiva is from the future, and she has lived out multiple timelines, and so the stuff that you're hearing about, like, you maybe not have told Aiva about Penelope directly. You get the sense that maybe in some other alternate timeline, you were perhaps you had a different relationship with Aiva and also perhaps with Penelope as well, and so you get that a lot of the advice that she's giving you is maybe not just conjecture.
Yeah. I think maybe as Roux is rambling on and trailing off and just fumbling about herself, she sort of stills and then looks directly at you and it's like, is this one of your creepy timeline things? What did you see of me? What did you see of Penelope? What's happening?
Observation changes the outcome of the phenomenon.
Oh, I hate that.
I can only guide you in the ways that I can.
Yeah, that's what you always say.
All right. Well, with our time traveler revealed as Roux and Aiva are hanging out in the treehouse, Melanie, you have been doing a tarot reading for your good friend. Would you describe Delia, her state of mind as well? Is she going through any sort of crises that you can help her recover from, perhaps?
I think Dahlia is always going through some sort of crisis, and part of the reason Melanie likes hanging out with her so much is that they are, like, extremely normal crises. They're like, I had an awkward conversation with my current crush, and then I totally tripped on the way out, and I'm sure everybody saw me. Can you make sure that, like, that like next week will be better, or like, oh, there's a test I'm really scared about. Can you, like, tell me if I'll do well? That kind of, like, she has, you know, the best friend in the first season of Sailor Moon?
She's in many of the seasons of Sailor Moon, but yes.
Well, like,
Naru?
she undergoes character development after a while, and, like, has a tragic backstory thing happen. Like, in the first few episodes where
Best
she's...
girl Naru?
Yeah, where she's, like,
Noir is
just
a
there
big
to,
Naru
like...
stan.
Yeah, no, she's great. Dahlia is very similar.
Awesome.
So I think, like, the conversation doesn't need to continue all that much longer. Dahlia will almost certainly have some new thing that will drag her away, but...
Dahlia, like most of campus, is gearing up for the big rugby match tomorrow. You guys are going to be playing the Rosy Oak Stick Bugs, and this is a big rivalry for you because they're also pretty botanically based, and that can't be... There's only room for one in this general area that the town is in.
It's plants versus bugs tomorrow?
It's plants versus
my
bugs
heart.
tomorrow.
Things are not boding well.
Dahlia, like a lot of people in the art school, has been helping get some of the big banners and like, you know, signs to cheer on the team ready. And she actually lost some paint. She was like, it was like under my supervision, and I put it in the supply shed, and then I came back the next day and it was like buckets were gone. And I don't know what to do about it. And you've been pulling tarot to help her recover. I'm going to say this is your opportunity to help a friend recover. If you would like to roll for me to, I'm going to say empathize with Dahlia.
Cool.
Yes.
I
Do you have
have
any
no
pips
points in this.
empathize? Great. So you're going to roll 1d6 and let me
No.
know what you get.
Great. Let's see what I got. 2.
Oof.
Awesome.
I'm just doing my best.
You were going to mark 2 segments on for a link on there. Dahlia is not necessarily feeling super convinced. She's like, I mean, I guess tarot could probably help me figure out who took all the paint and moved it, but it feels like I'd be better served, like, putting up a sign or something. Do you want to paint that, or are we could keep looking at cards? I could talk about a different problem.
No,
I think my fish is depressed. That's not great. Could you pull a card for that, actually?
Certainly. Have you considered giving him more sticks? Let me look up what the 10 of Wands means. Accomplishment, responsibility, burden. It seems to me like you're really weighed down right now. I understand that's...
There's been so much going on with the paint and the fish and, like, college, and I feel like I'm spreading myself too thin. I don't know how you do it, honestly, you've been helping out with the game and all your cool friends, and your fish isn't depressed. Do you have a fish?
No. Although maybe I should get one. That could be very
I bet he wouldn't be depressed if you did have one.
It seems like you might be feeling the burden of your responsibilities a little bit, and I understand what it's like to be relied on, but you know that if you need help, you can always count on me. You don't need to do this alone.
I know. You're a good friend, Melanie, and you'd be a really good fish owner.
It means so much to hear you say that.
Awesome. Well, you don't know that you necessarily soothed your friend long term, but with her many issues and whims, you have successfully managed to help her out here.
My personal code prohibits lying, so I'm just doing my best. I'm just doing my best.
You get the sense that she'll be back to stressed out again within the next hour or so, but the evening's getting a little later. You see through the window outside as Beets and Cass are leaving their protein-packed dinner to head probably over to the treehouse, passing by if you'd like to join.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Well, we've got our trio as you guys are walking over to the treehouse together.
Ooh.
Cass, Beets, and Melanie.
Hey, Melanie.
Ladies.
Is Dahlia's fish still sad?
Yeah, I think it's really starting to get her down.
I don't get
Does she
how.
know that if it swims in circles a lot, that's just what a fish does? That's...
Yeah, I don't know how a fish could be sad.
I trust that she could read the sorrow in its eyes.
I suppose. Melanie, you told me painting 101 would be an easy A, and I keep failing every painting I turn in. I need the credit. You guys got to do something.
Of course. Can you show me some of the most recent one? We can try and work out what happened with the grade.
Yeah, so I pulled it out. It's just fully monochromatic. It's just painting, just lathered, and same color. No alteration of color. Just.
Well, this might be a little bit advanced for painting 101. This probably would have gotten you gold marks in the modern art analysis class.
That can't be true.
Sometimes I'm surprised as well.
While we're talking about modern art analysis, could I have one or all of you as a team can make this check perceive for me?
I have a pip in this.
Nice.
I thought I'll roll a regular dice.
If you guys would like to do this as the team, the way teams checks works is however many people are participating in it all get to roll however many dice they have. But one of you is designated as the leader of the check, and if anyone fails the check, that leader gains a stress point for each.
What's the benefit of rolling as a group instead of
I guess higher chance of getting a
Higher
6.
odd of getting like a 5 or a 6.
I guess.
I think you have a pip in it, so I think
Go
2
for
should
it.
be fine.
Go for
Okay.
it.
I also
Let's
have
see
a-
if my
Staring
Warhammer
at
dice
this
can make work.
monochromatic. I'm like all blue. Maybe
Oh god damn it! It's a 3 because one of them's a 1.
should have taken the stress from us.
I should have taken the stress points.
I would have rolled a 1. You would have got a stress from me.
Okay.
You're looking around and nothing seems to be too out of the ordinary. The people are attending to the field. You see the groundskeepers painting new lines in the rugby field, and you think you see out of the corner of your eye your art history professor storming over towards the utility shed, but nothing that seems too unusual for the hype before the big game, as it were. So you guys just keep on trucking towards the treehouse, and you climb up the ladder to find Roux and Aiva in the midst of what seems to be at once an incredibly serious and incredibly ambiguous conversation.
Melanie, Beets, Cassia. It's nice to meet you all. See
This
you
looks
all.
like
again.
an A, right? I mean, just look at the emotion on display.
I did it 30 minutes before
This
class.
would have done very well in a modern arts analysis class.
Hey, necessity is the mother of invention.
It's so plain it could depress a fish.
I wonder how easily that can happen.
That's the word I've heard, is that fish get depressed now. Roux!
Cousin, hey. How was practice?
Great. Why are you here?
Oh, well, this is.
I was just helping Roux with troubles.
Is that why you both look so uncomfortable?
I think we might have actually saved a life by arriving when we did. This might have been.
Ava looks serene. Like,
Oh.
The
Roux, on the
vibes
other
in
hand, maybe
here-
his
Sweating.
Yeah, I think Rue's face is like bright red. Just like
Social battery gone for the day.
she's not good with people. She can't do this. This is too much.
I assume Ava is just like waiting for a pause to explain what's on the board. So I will Cass just pipes up and says, "What are you working on there?"
I was investigating the methodology by which Morgan Le Fay has been extracting the essence of her subjects, I suppose. Our villain of the week, as it were.
Magic?
Well,
It seems like magic.
Isn't that
Yes.
something you would already know from the past?
Well, I think it's less how she's doing it and more why.
that's what I ended up finding out. It's in my travels, this is something that I've sought out, and answers have varied from time to time, but it seems as though in this timeline it is to power something big, the details of which I know not.
That doesn't
Power something big like a steam engine, or power something big like a doomsday weapon?
Perhaps, given the caliber of villains that we fought, maybe a little smaller than a doomsday engine, but bigger than a very small doomsday engine.
Doom's City engine.
Bigger than a refrigerator, but smaller than a very big refrigerator.
We've completed the second Austin speedrun of the session, which is how long will it take for Austin to do a Doofenshmirtz impression?
Less than an hour.
We've covered it, kids.
Cass
We've
goes
gotten
up and
two.
stares at the board.
Yeah, you guys are all pretty familiar with this investigation at this point. You know Ava's been kind of spearheading it, but you've been fighting off the minions of Morgan Le Fay for some time, and you know that this is in the works. It's why you all sort of find yourselves drawn to this treehouse by the end of the day. Is inevitably most days here at Magnolia, you five, when night falls, end up having to go kick the ass of and then redeem the spirit of one of your fellow townspeople. So this is not a too unusual of a situation, even if the vibe in the treehouse can be described as tenuous on this particular evening.
It's a good thing the town is so small, or we might really be in trouble.
At a point,
though.
you think they'd run out of people to turn into monsters.
I wonder if
That's
she can
another good
use
point,
them.
though.
That's the magic of Magnolia, is it's a town that is at once a small town and also big enough to contain one of every type of thing: a movie theater, bakery,
Powerful.
bowling alley, and the person has to work at every one of those things. So actually the population of
mall.
Magnolia, the mall is knocking out so many categories of things, right? You've got your GameStops, you've got your Hot Topics.
Mall's a real
the
90s
Limited
banger.
2. Yeah, well, you're all gathered in the treehouse for the evening. You're preparing to hopefully be able to return to your homework and mundane responsibilities, but we are gonna kind of move the camera away from the treehouse as you guys discuss Ava's recent discoveries, and we're gonna pan over to that rugby field where we've been prepping for the big game, and we see the figure that Melanie had spotted out of the corner of her eye. It is indeed Professor Donahue stomping over to the supply shed where they keep all the equipment and the buckets of paint, ready to chew out the thief who has been stealing their paint overnight. But as she throws open the door, why? Now pay attention. I put up signs. She's stopped in her speech by a single feather floating to the ground. And in the back of the shed, with these glowing eyes and a beak protruding from the front, we see Squawk and Clamor, and they raise their talisman. You, Professor Donahue, may be an artsy sort, but before long you'll find your font of inspiration has run short. And you see the talisman's vines begin to glow, and we watch as Professor Donahue becomes frozen in midair, and a little flower blooms from the top of her head as she gets this crown of ivy, and a little gem floats in the air above it, and Clamor reaches out a silent talon and grabs it as the two step out onto the field, followed very quickly by, and this is a sound that all of you hear, a pixelated roar coming from the direction of the rugby field.
Please explain to me how a sound is pixelated.
It's pixelated. That's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
It's like bottoming out and capping out and
crunchy.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's crunchy.
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
really
Some things
poorly
are best
mixed.
left to the imagination.
Cool. All right. We're dealing with things Matt was not meant to know.
Right on cue.
And I just pulled the 7 of Swords. I should have seen this coming.
Ladies of the Heartwood Coven, you have heard the call of a townsfolk in distress. Would you like to head over to the rugby field?
Yeah, I'm already out. I'm already running.
Would you,
Full
I guess
speed.
more
She's so
accurate
fast.
statement,
She's so
would you
fast.
like to follow Beets to the rugby field?
Did she jump? Did she not take the ladder? I think she jumped.
Full send, full
She
jump.
definitely jumped.
Amazing.
She always jumps.
She's incredible.
A shoulder
You know about-
roll on land. And
That's only dangerous about 40% of the time, I've noticed.
Gravity is her ally in a way it is not to me.
After
And
you,
I'm in
Cassia.
heels, so I'm certainly not trying that.
I'm also in heels, but I also, and I think she'll do like a what's what's a good rune for this? Like a levitate rune maybe on her heels, where it just sort of like floats her down.
You gently descend as though like on a wire down to the ground as a little it's a motion similar to how you would overemphasize painting. You right around your feet to create this glowing circular rune that you just very lightly descend out of the treehouse. And you feel a little sense of pride of like, yes, I did do that much more gracefully and quickly than Melanie did.
Melanie has drawn the 9 of Pentacles and is going to expand it into like a glowing, floating tarot card and just hop on and invite Aiva on.
Sick.
Aiva will offer to go last, but before everyone else leaves, she'll kind of stop Cass and be like, "Are you sure you're up for this, Cassia?"
Aren't I always? Come on, it's you guys. Nothing's gonna go wrong.
Okay. And then she will produce a little tincture, drink half of it, offer half of it to Cass, and then just jump off as she slowly starts to levitate to the ground.
Featherfall.
I think Cass is pretty like, I can do this. Don't worry about me. And so will refuse offers of getting down normal, like magically, and will climb down the ladder. Totally mundane, but when she gets to the bottom, she sees a little flower that Beets crushed when she landed on the ground, and she'll start to run, stop, blow it a little kiss, and it reanimates itself, comes back up, and then follows. She's got a little bit of magic, and then follows on foot behind everyone.
I love this. I love that Beets' superpower as of right now is
Gravity.
gumption and moxie, and I adore this. But as you are all rushing off towards the sounds of pixelated danger, we are going to actually go to our break before we find out what this foe you must face is. So come back right after a little word from our friends at 5GMs to find out what
that's us.
So the thing that they do, we do this in our episodes because of Fullmetal Alchemist and Sailor Moon, but they do say the title in between the breaks. So if I could have everyone as a group, we're going to say Heartwood Coven, okay? And we're just going to do that together, and that's going to be the hard cut right to commercial. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Heartwood Coven.
That was bad.
There was no
Perfect.
way to do it right because
exactly
we're all
it's comedy
we all
gold.
have latency.
Heartwood Coven.
Heartwood Coven.
Heartwood Coven.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, you get it.
5GMs in a Trenchcoat is back, and this time with Season 3, as GM Tanlynn uses Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for her story.
Imagine the stench of fear, of sweat and of blood, cold stone beneath your palm as you feel your way down an impossibly dark and endless hallway. Here there's as much fear as there is isolation, and as much hopelessness as there is violence, or at least fantasies of it.
Join Callan Omoris Caldwell, played by Adam Gonzalez, Reen Sato, played by Kim Siyuki, 2.5 Horns, played by Jesse Espinoza, and Onder Madison, played by Tanner Sherlock, as they navigate the kingdom of Miltant and the horrors that await them.
So you guys hear, like, an alarm bell, like, fucking, all the doors go, shadunk! And then you also hear, like, coming from the ceiling.
5GMs in a Trenchcoat is a TTRPG actual play podcast where 5 friends take turns weaving stories through the tabletop game of their choice each season, with new episodes out every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are in Silent Hill. It was just a joke before!
Welcome back. Before we technically get back, we do have to all, as a group, do the other half of the outro intro, which is you say Heartwood Guardians all together. So is everyone ready? Everyone's looking at the
Guardians or
microphone?
Heartwood Coven?
Heartwood Coven.
Coven. Okay.
Good catch.
Didn't want to say the wrong thing.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Heartwood
Coven.
Coven. That one was pretty
Wow.
good, I think, actually. I think
No,
we're
it
back-
not
wasn't.
where I was standing.
Guys, we screwed it up. Go back to the beginning. It's done. We got to start over.
Does Riverside extract individual tracks?
Yeah.
Like, can you
Yes.
can you
Yeah, you'll be
line
able
them
to
up?
fix it
Yeah,
in post.
Okay, all right.
We don't have
But
the
would you-
time for that. This is coming out in 7 hours.
It's not. It's coming out in 7 days. No, wait. 5 days? Whatever. It's coming out
Yeah, it's
in
coming
more
out
than 7
Friday,
hours.
isn't it?
Important
yeah.
to know these things.
Yeah, release
welcome.
schedules.
Welcome back. Our heroes are on foot rushing to the rugby field, where in the distance they're starting to see, as you approach, illuminating parts of the sky periodically as the sun is setting here on this vibrant autumn tapestry. Jolts of color to the art majors amongst you. These are reminiscent of some of the artists you've been studying in your lecture. There's like these blocks of like Montserrat paintings going around, and you can see, you could swear you see a blue, sad, cubic image in one of them, but all of this reminiscent to you as it illuminates the sky, and it clearly is happening from the epicenter of the rugby field, and you all rush over. Beets, I'm going to say you get there first because with your raw speed, you beat anyone's magical abilities. And you, the others close behind, but in their own time.
The dangers of the muscle wizard strike again.
Beets, you arrive in the field and you see hovering in the center a figure that looks to be a 2D cubist painting made manifest. They are constantly flickering and changing the shapes of their body as they warp the landscape around them. Your precious rugby field is being torn to shreds as square pieces erupt from the ground and descend, and the whole landscape becomes this modern art piece. And in the center of it, you see this cubic figure, the cube tricks, if you would, name pending, and they are destroying that which you held dear. It's about now when the rest of the crew catches up, and as you see the chaos before you, you all have a moment of relief of, oh good, no one's caught up in this. And then, Roux, your keen ears, trained to this one particular person, pick up a cry from amidst the rugby field, bag of gear over their shoulders. She had returned to pick it up. You see Penelope struggling to hold her footing. Help! I can't! And she is in the midst, in the mire of this cubic foe.
Well,
You are all face to face with one of the transformed villagers. They're townspeople. Person who you are increasingly suspecting may be your art history.
They're here to
professor.
kill the beast.
I brought my pitchfork.
Yes. Aiva, could I have you make a perceive check for me?
Sure.
Or I will allow you to make analyze if you prefer. I would say either one of these is fine.
Either is good for me. Is this a thing where I'm gathering information, or is this just regular perceive?
I'll say it's gathering information. You want to use a cool little ability?
Well, gather information allows me to ask a certain list of questions.
Gotcha.
I don't know if this is what you're having me do.
I'm going to say just a regular perceive check
Okay.
then. Yeah.
All right. 5.
5. You are immediately, because you have lived many of these scenarios before, aware that if there is a monster, then there must be the second in commands of Morgan Le Fay about as well, because the monster can only be formed when the essence crystal is removed from the person in question. So you immediately start looking around for Clamor and Squawk, and very quickly you don't see Clamor at first, but you do see a feathery mass of sorts that seems to be giggling and cackling on top of the supply shed. So before you, my Heartwood Coven, are a couple things that you must do. You have to stop this cubist monster from destroying the rugby field. The big game is tomorrow. You have to rescue Penelope. She is trapped in the mire of this cubic nightmare, and you have to get that essence back, because if you don't, your art history professor and the key to at least 2 of your grades for the semester is going to be permanently trapped as some sort of horrifying creature of nightmarish art history influence.
I mean, traditionally, we have to do our transformation sequence, right?
Yes, it is time to transcend, to attain your magical girl forms. With the exception of Cass, is everyone going to transcend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Then we're going to go... All of this is happening in
Go on without me, I'm used to it.
a swirling sequence set to stirring music. But I would like to ask each of you in turn to describe your transformation and then what your transcended form looks like. We'll start with Aiva, because Noir, I know that you are keenly aware of the tropes and style of the magical girl transformation sequence.
I think this looks like your... I don't know, for me at least, it's your classic Sailor Moon transformation where, like, the person is levitating in a background of rainbow and swirls. Slowly, parts of her armor, her suit, kind of manifests itself in a swirl of like glowing ribbons and stuff like that. What she looks like is kind of your classic witch, kind of like long flowing robes, which is like pointed hat. The hat has like the brim of the hat is what is it? It's oh man, words. It looks like a gear basically. So it has like the teeth of, it has the brim has the teeth of a gear basically.
Very cool.
And she's holding a staff that looks like it would be perfect for like stirring a giant cauldron in.
Amazing.
And then she shouts out, the flow of chemical brews co-aligns with the flow of time. Guardian witch of elixir.
Amazing. Aiva, our brew witch, our potions master, ascends and transcends into her final form. Beets, let's go to you next. What does your transformation sequence look like, and what does Beets' transcended form look like?
Yeah, so Beets reaches into, obviously, high socks, reaches into her high sock and pulls out a crystal, one of her many, and I think breaks it, and upon breaking it, the colors and crystals appear behind her, right? This geometric pattern, these geometric patterns break apart behind her as you see the crystals grow onto her, and then the psh, right into her suit.
Awesome. Very,
very like Power Rangers-y, very new Superman. Just the light into the glimmers break off of my body as it reveals my suit, which is less flowy and more like battle gear ready. I think I'm probably dealing with like pointed shoulder pads or something of the sort. I have my hair, eyebrows, and eyes have gone red to match the crystal that I broke, and I have a floating kind of crown with an aura kind of pouring off of it, very, very anime power-uppy. And my entire body is just, again, covered in, I would say almost like battle armor. And yeah, I hit a pose. And I think as I transform, I just, the SAPPY, stick it to the other guys, and then you transform.
Through the power of sportsmanship alone, you have attained your first of many very cool forms. Crystals crackling and break apart as our witch of crystal, our crystal witch, attains her transcended form. Melanie, up next in the lineup, tell me what your transformation sequence is like and what you look like in your transcended form.
First, I pull the Wheel of Fortune out of my little pocket tarot deck. Shit you not, that is what I drew before we started this part of the episode. And the wheel of it explodes off the card and glows purpley white and starts rotating, and it's another Sailor Moon style transformation. You know, the silhouette goes all glowy and shit, with assorted runes and like the various winged beasts on this thing just kind of manifesting to fly around in the background non-canonically or non-diegetically or whatever. Like the long hair coils itself up into a ponytail with the high priestess crown tying it down, and the outfit goes very summery instead of the sort of like, you know, scarf and shawl kind of thing. It's more like, oh, light, you know, big flowy sleeves, short skirt, tights, same boots though, they're very comfortable, and like kind of one of these standard like big bows on the back. It's purple. The sash is very long. And I think she does, in fact, get some sort of, like, baton type thing. But maybe she spins it and it's a sword, and then she spins it and it's like a glowing pentacle. I don't fucking know, man. Tarot is crazy.
The universe.
And she says, "The future is not written in stone. Guardian Witch of Prophecy."
Very tight. Very cool. Roux, you are our last to transcend, as Cass is yet to reach their final form to unlock that power within. Roux, what does your transformation look like, and what does your transcended form look like?
I think it's like sort of like glitter starts to like manifest around her, and then like this giant like brush wand sort of like manifests itself in her hand, and she sort of like paints around herself like in like a spirally glitter masterpiece to sort of transform. And what's beautiful about it is that she doesn't look that much different because she dresses crazy anyways. I think her skirt's like a little bit shorter, a little poofier, a little frillier. And then she has this big like witch hat with a giant bow on it, and it's all still pink and sparkly and wonderful with her little brush wand. And that's, yeah. I think maybe she like was about to start her little like guardian witch of, oh my god, Penelope. Yeah,
That's great.
Fantastic. Well, with our witches transformed, save for Cass. Cass, do you do anything while you're... Because I imagine it does take a little bit of real-world time for everyone to transform. Do you do anything during this sequence?
Music is blasting.
She's sort of in volleyball ready position, just like kind of crouched, ready to go in whatever direction she might need to go in. Just hopping back and forth, ready to see what angle she's gonna have to take on this assault.
All right. Well, we are in the midst of the action. Does anyone have anything they would like to do right off the bat?
I think Melanie wants to start giving directions. Nobody has to listen to them, but I think that is immediately where I go to.
Sure.
All right. So I think the angle would be Witch of Crystal. I think you should do a head-on assault. Distract the cubist creature while we attempt to rescue... who is that in there? I swear she looks familiar.
Penelope!
Roux, are you alright, Roux? Would you like to rescue Penelope? That seems...
Yeah,
like...
Roux's already kind of going that way.
Good, yes, very proactive. And Aiva, do you think you can track down those feathery fiends? You know the ones. Their names are very confusing.
On it.
Alright.
I was gonna attack anyways. I'm not doing it because it told me to. This is just what I was gonna do, just to be clear. And I started just running straight, just beelining it towards this monster.
Awesome.
What should I do?
Code against lying. Code against admitting fault. Stay out of trouble, and if you see your moment, you know what to do. And then I am going to charge in and out of this conversation.
Yeah.
Man, that's not a lie, but that's pretty scummy.
I'm doing my best. I don't want this kid to get killed because of us.
It sounds like the first thing that happens is that Beets is going to be initiating a head-on assault. Beets, do you have a particular playbook ability you would like to use, or is there a different kind of action you would like to take? How does Beets attempt to attack this creature? I'll say the terrain is extremely difficult to navigate, so you'll probably have to contend with some difficulty getting to them to begin with.
Okay. So I know I have, as the Witch of Crystal, I can kind of summon crystalline structures and things like that and use crystal in different ways. I was hoping to make like a crystal like step kind of steps up so I could get just above this thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
And then I want to create a crystal volleyball and spike it down at it.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm going to have you make a flow check for me, just to see how you're able to jump from platform to platform. I'm not going to make you make any check for the volleyball. I think that you can just do that inherently based on who you are as a person.
Okay. I got a 3 on the flow.
3 on the flow. Okay. Let me just double check something real quick. This was kind of it's risky, which is pretty baseline for you. You know, you're manipulating your power to use it. So you don't quite manage to make it up to get the volleyball. You start forming the volleyball in your hand, you're leaping from platform to platform, but you're so in the zone on rugby from all of the practice for the big game that you're not paying enough attention to your footing, and you hit one crystal pretty far up, and you actually slip, and you are unable to cover all the distance. So I'm going to have you suffer a 1 minor harm. Let's go and say you twist your ankle as you're falling, which is not great for the which is not great, but is not going to necessarily inhibit you from doing any of these more magical girl escapades.
That is the greatest harm.
And to everyone else, you see Beets rushing ahead, slip on one of their crystals, and still volleyball in hand, kind of belly flop onto one of the cubes of the ground, which starts to rise and fall as the terrain around the cube monster is ever changing and dangerous.
Can I try to perceive the safest route for Roux to follow as she tries to beeline to Penelope?
Yeah, absolutely. You can. Go ahead and roll.
So
perceive
salty,
for
you
me.
can't remember her name.
I'm doing my best. I swear that you can buy this lady in a 6-pack at Walmart. I cannot tell who she is.
I'm gonna say this is a controlled level of difficulty, so you're pretty adept at this. There's nothing really obscuring you from finding this route.
Okay, and it's a perceive check?
Perceive check, yeah.
Okay, I have 1 pip in this, so I'm rolling 2 dice and taking the
Great.
higher.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, double 5s, so 5.
All right. You are able to spot a route. It's not perfect. Everything is constantly changing, so there is still a possibility. Like, if Roux wants to run through, I'm going to say it's going to be an easier check for them to, find the appropriate path.
You get, a glowing sequence of purple pentacles just light up the route to Penelope.
Yeah.
As,
so
the
there's
safe
a clear
places to
line.
put your feet.
You don't lose sight of Penelope. You know where she is. You know what your point you need to get to is. Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice.
Thank you. That was assisting a teammate. I don't know what that means, but it's on the list, so I assume it's good. Ow, sorry. All these magical girl poses are kind of hard to do with a microphone 6 inches from my face.
Awesome. Roux and Aiva, you are the next two who have things to do. Roux, you have a bow to save, and Aiva, you have some birds to track down. Does anyone have an approach to that they would like to take?
Okay. I had this idea for mixing a few runes together to try and do something a little silly.
We love a little silly here.
Yeah, so Penelope's in the hand of this being, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I wanted to mix maybe a rune of maybe slowness, maybe, and water and air to make a bubble of slow moving to kind of encapsulate maybe, I don't know how big this creature is, but maybe their foot or something so that they can't do something crazy, or maybe the hand that's holding them so they can't do something crazy.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. I'm gonna have you make an analyze check. And I'm gonna say, since you have the assist from Melanie, you can add a d6 to this roll, so you get to roll an extra die on top of whatever you normally would.
Okay. Cool.
Just to make sure that you have the correct ratio of the correct runes in the right order to make this bubble do the effect that you want.
Yeah. I got a 6.
Woo! No problems. You are, seeing your crush in danger puts you into a kind of focus that you've been really achieving.
I haven't had in a long time.
Staring at the wall really took you out, and you finally feel like you're getting that vision back. And you quickly in the air create the correct sequence of runes to create this slow bubble, and you watch as it bobs and weaves its way through the shifting landscape right to the cube creature, and is able to kind of slow it down. It's got Penelope in its hand. As the hand is sort of arcing downward towards the ground, it goes into slow motion, and so she's not being waved around quite so much, and is in fact much easier to access now, and could potentially even escape. Aiva, you are pursuing some birds.
I am. Could I gather information?
Yes, absolutely.
I would like to. I think I'm not sure what role this is, but I would like to add. Or how does this work? Actually, I should look at the. This is typically a fortune roll, but in the middle of a dangerous or volatile situation, it could be an action roll instead.
Gotcha.
I think I just roll 1d6, and on a 1 to 3, I get to ask one question. On a 4 to 5, I get to ask one question and a follow-up, and on a 6, I get to ask 2 questions and one follow-up.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Or a fortune roll or an action roll, so I guess depending on what I do for it, like if I want to perceive, I guess, I would be able to do 2, because I can, because I have 2 in perceive. I have 1 in perceive, so I can roll.
I'm going to say this could be either analyze or perceive, just based on your knowledge of your foes.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 6. So I get to ask 2 questions and one follow-up.
Ooh, please.
So, I would like to ask, what is different about the encounter this time?
In a lot of your previous encounters, your enemy has been standing next to whatever creature they've created, cackling and monologuing, and it is notable to you that they are not immediately visible.
And then my second question is, what might happen if I were to confront them directly?
You may get them to reveal what they've taken from whoever it is that got transformed into the cube creature. And you may get that back from them, or you may, have to fight them and lose that fight. There is really 2 kind of possible outcomes to a confrontation at this point.
Okay. I don't think I have any follow-up, so that's okay. And then also, do I mark a transcendence mark because I did an action roll while I was transcended?
Yes, this is a great point. So when you guys are transcended, your transcendence ends after, I believe it's 4 actions of any kind. So if you have taken an action, mark 1 on your sheet. And then when we get to 4, you will untransform, hopefully at a suitably dramatic moment. Time will tell.
Great.
Okay, I will go to the shed to confront them head on. I would also like to use one of my time traveler abilities.
Ooh.
Saw it coming. You can expend your special armor to resist any consequence relating to surprise or misfortune, to be in 2 places at once, or perform some similar feat of time manipulation. So I'd like to be in 2 places at once, off in the background, watching over Cass.
Sure. Absolutely, you can do this.
I'm not interjecting myself. I'm just whatever Cass is gonna do. I'm surreptitiously following. But then the other part of me is
going to confront these birds.
Going to confront these birds.
Sweet. You were able to ascertain that they're kind of somewhere around the shed area, even if they're not immediately visible. So I'll say that you can head over there. There's not really an initiative to this or anything, so if anyone has a thread they like to pick up in the interim, let me know. But for now, I'm going to follow Aiva to these birds. You kind of round the corner of the shed now in your transformed form. Your feet slide to a stop, and you see hovering over the crystal, pulling at the air around it as though in a tug of war, the 2 bird brains are arguing over who gets to present it to their boss. You find Squawk is like, "No, I was the one who monologued," and Clamor is like, "We both know that I have an air of superiority." And the 2 are tugging back and forth. Clearly, this is not a villainous duo known for their teamwork.
Halt!
What? These meddling witches are back.
Do I know Squawk and Clamor?
You recognize Squawk and Clamor. These are the frequent Early in her reign of terror, Morgan Le Fay loves to have these two as her go-to goons. They're often the ones who get sent out to capture the essence of townspeople. I would say everyone on the team is at least a little bit familiar with them. You guys have all fought these guys before. You know their whole deal is one is a little bit scrungly would be the word I would use, and the other one is a lot more demure, but the two of them together form an unlikely duo who is pretty inept at their jobs.
One of them is Kiki and the other one is Boba. You know how
Yeah.
it is.
One of them is Yanni. The other
Zendaya is
Laurel.
Michi, we all know. But yeah,
I
Ava,
knew the
this
trailer.
is a familiar face to you.
Gotcha. I knew the trail of feathers of molting feathers would lead me to you here.
That catty bitch!
I thought this was a PG cartoon.
Whoa!
Never.
Kill the birds! Kill the
Okay,
birds!
fuck you then. Jeez.
You'll never get this crystal. We're going to bring the essence of this teacher back to our master. Her creativity is boundless, only limited by her lectures. And the two kind of halt their squabbling. You see that Clamor is the one, the more stoic of the two, is able to get a feathered hand around the essence crystal, and they start to kind of back away, keep an eyes on you.
I'm going to take out one of my I'm going to take out my daily driver of the potions that I have, which is just a caustic brew that's acidic to the touch, and throw it at him.
Awesome.
Very pragmatic.
Are you aiming for a particular part of them, or just throwing acid, I guess, everywhere?
I don't want to hit the crystal, so I guess kind of around their feet.
Okay. I'm gonna say that this is standard risky for a check. And if I could have you make, I'm gonna say flow. You're trying to kind of move with a certain amount of grace and maybe grace is the wrong word, but a certain amount of focus and hit a target in a way that's helpful to you as opposed to just creating more chaos.
Okay, if I want to push myself and give myself an extra opportunity to succeed, that's taking on stress.
You take on 2 stress if you push yourself.
I have a million stress. I'm fine.
Yeah, none of us are taking
Yeah.
any stress.
None of us
except
taking
for-
stress. There's also, you're alone right now, but there is a world where when you guys are together, you can spend some of those links that you guys made in the downtime to help each
Right.
other out with the rolls.
2 stress. I got a billion left. I'm fine. Yeah, I'll roll flow. That's double 5s.
Double 5s. Okay. You do it, but there is a consequence. So you do manage to throw the acid at their feet, and you see that both of them immediately recoil from the burning. There's like clawed, taloned feet go like jumping, almost dancing a bit, and Clamor loses grip on the crystal, and it clatters off to the side. All eyes still following it. So. Though you are able to get them to drop the crystal, it is still well within the reach, and they are going to start lunging for it right as they drop it to try and reclaim that essence.
Can I try and beat him to the punch?
You can absolutely try and beat them to the punch. I'm going to say that this is just a straight fortune roll, which is for... you know what? No, that's not right. It's defy. You are trying to defy the odds that they get this crystal and defy their attempts to gain it. So if you could roll a defy roll for me, and this one I'm going to say is controlled. It's a little bit easier just because you were ready for this outcome. You were ready for them to leap for it.
I don't have anything in defy, so I will take on 2 more stress to roll another die.
You got like a million of them.
I got like a million of them. Yeah.
Spend them.
I'm so scared of finding out what your eclipse is going to be.
I really jinxed it when I said we're probably not going to hit Eclipse in this session. That's a one-off.
You underestimated Noir.
4.
4? All right. You are able to grab the crystal, but as you do, one of their taloned hands scratches at your arm, and you are going to take a harm effect. Just at level 1, you have gained a arm wound that will need tending to. You might be a little slower in some other moves.
Okay.
Is that your 4th action that you've taken, Transcended?
That's my 3rd.
3rd. Okay, great. I'm going to say as you grab this crystal, we're going to return to the rest of the crew. You hear Squawk and Clamor go, no! No! And back at the main event, as it were, Beets, you are eating dirt. Roux, you've got a bow to save. Beets, what would you like to do?
So I think I'm mumbling angrily, and then just, I hate art, I hate self-expression, I hate you, and I'm going to make a like crystalline structure behind me, and I'm just going to push off it with my feet and just attempt to shoulder check this thing. In doing that, I'm going to use Brutish, which is my transcendent ability. So when I push myself, I'm going to push myself to do this also. I'm going to give myself the extra die to do it.
Stress.
Stress. And then I'm going to perform a superhuman feat of physical force to destroy an obstacle between me and my rival. I haven't expressed my rival outwardly, but I think Ava's my most likely rival, mainly because I'm like hard-headed, and it's like being strong will fix things. And it was like, oh, like we're patient. We see as time comes, we can't change time. And I'm like, you can change time with brute force. You can change everything with brute force.
Very nice.
And so I'm just attempting to full-on power shoulder check this large art being that I've gotten tired of almost instantaneously.
Amazing. I'm going to say this is still risky because you are injured, but if you want to go ahead and make a defy for me, you are standing stalwart in the face of modern art, and you are saying, not today. And for that, you get to roll a defy.
Alrighty, so I use the stress, so I have an extra die, so I'm at 3 die right now.
Nice.
All right.
I got a 6.
Woo. Nice. I forgot to mention, and I realized this could have come up earlier, if you get 2 6s, that is a critical success. So if anyone ever rolls 2 6s, let me know.
I did not.
But you succeed. The line in the book literally just says, you roll a 6, you do it. Beets, you do it. You launch yourself off of your crystalline structure, ball in hand, and you smash it squarely into the face, or what you assume is the face of this cubic structure. It's strange. Yeah. As you hit it, it seems to like shift to the other side, and an eye goes up in another square, and it feels like the face is shifting, but nonetheless, it feels like it is shifting out of pain and agony. You have definitely injured the creature, and it puts its hand to its face and is like, ah! There's another pixelated scream as it also begins to drop. Penelope.
These shapes don't make sense to me.
Beets, you do feel a moment of victory. You're like, that is scoring a goal is what I've just done here today. I have succeeded in something. But Roux, you are immediately stressed out because you see Penelope is falling slower than she would have been because of your bubble. She is descending pretty slowly, so you think she's probably not in danger of falling damage necessarily, but you got to get to her before the landscape swallows her up.
Yeah, I was thinking about perhaps making a ruin of like attraction, not in that way, guys.
Well, you know, if it wasn't that way, I wouldn't complain.
We don't play with love magic here.
No, but like as in like magnet attraction, like come this way type thing as she's falling in front of me. Well, yeah, away. But no.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say make a flow check to try and like guide her with your magnet rune through the landscape, because it is kind of like ever shifting around this creature. A little less so since Beets' attack distracted it, but it's still a little bit perilous to navigate. And I'm gonna say that this is a controlled check. You actually have pretty good circumstances to get this done, so it's a little easier.
Okay. So if I have nothing, it's roll 2, take the lower, right?
So if you don't have any points in flow on your chart, you're still rolling a single die, so you don't have disadvantage. You just don't add anything to it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a 1.
No.
So yeah.
So this is not, it wasn't too risky of a check, luckily, but you are unable to guide Penelope through. As you are kind of panicking, it's a very overwhelming moment. Not only is a lecture that you were not really paying too much attention of coming back to kind of bite you in the butt, but you are trying to deal with the emotions of making sure it's the correct attraction rune. And as you're trying to guide with like this magnetic pulse through the ruin, you see a large cube of the rugby field come between you and Penelope, kind of like a wall trapping her behind it. If you want to get close to her, you're going to have to physically get closer to her. You're not going to bring her to you.
Oh, this is so poetic on so many levels.
Yeah, so currently as it stands, we've got Aiva facing down some birds with Crystal in hand. Beets has landed quite the blow, and Roux, Penelope, is in dire need of saving. But I want to turn to Cass. Cass, is there anything that you would like to be doing in this fight?
Yes, well, I think I'm going to go where most needed, which seems like Roux to me. But Aiva, correct me. Like, how is... You've used almost all your actions. Are you going to change out of your form? Is that what's about to happen?
If I do one more action roll, yes, I will de-transcend.
Okay, and that's...
Descend. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the severity of that in this system. I don't know. Is that a
well,
hard
you
bad
don't.
thing?
I don't know if you know that Ava's not about
Fair
to
enough. You know
go
what?
out of it,
I see Penelope disappear behind more wall of cubist art, and I am going to rush over to see what I can do. It's not much that I usually can do, but I am good at understanding what's in people's hearts. I have an ability called Heartfelt, which is when gathering information about someone's emotions, I get to roll an extra dice. And so as I is Penelope conscious? Do we see Penelope? Is Penelope
Penelope
awake?
is conscious, and Penelope is terrified.
Yes. I would like to peer past the terrified to see if she has if I can glean any like emotion towards Roux. Did she see Roux and like light up with affection, but like subtly in a way that only I would possibly be able to see?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, given how Roux ran away earlier in the session, it's very realistic that you actually could try and spot this. I'm gonna have you make a let's go empathize check.
All right, so I have 1 in empathize, which means that I'm rolling
roll
2
two
dice,
dice.
but
Yes.
I get an extra dice because of heartfelt. So I'm going to
Nice.
roll 3d6.
Very nice. And I'm going to say that this is risky because there is a lot of terror going on here, so it is a little bit
We wouldn't
difficult
do it
to
if it
parse the
wasn't.
emotions.
All right, here we go. Come on. That's a 6.
Woo! Nice. Yeah, you look into Penelope's eyes, trying to stay and keep the gaze through the shifting landscape and keep from getting crushed by any cubes of rock yourself. You dodge. As you jump over one of the like parts of the landscape that's shifting, you see there's like a little bit of like a leap sound effect, almost like a Roy Lichtenstein little like text box pops up. There's a lot of other art than cubism involved here. I've just been forgetting to say it. And you look
Isn't
into
that the GM curse?
isn't it? You look into Penelope's eyes and you feel very certain that actually she's pretty fond of Roux. You're like, oh, this is a girl who's been trying to say hi when the cool cousin of her coach, her captain, comes by to practice, and she's a little bit like, she can't quite figure out why Roux always runs away so quickly, but her presence is made better by Roux's appearances in her days, and she would love to talk more with her. So you get that there's some genuine affection there. She's aware of who Roux is.
Gotcha. I would also like to ask, part of my heartfelt is I can always ask for free, what is your character really feeling? Mm-hmm. So, like, what is Roux's anxiety in this situation? What is bothering Roux the most about the situation?
I think on the forefront of her mind, it's this, like, in big, bold letters, like, confess, like, that kind of thing. Like, I don't, like, teetering between, like, I need to do this and I can never do this. It's, like, kind of that.
I'm going to shout out, I see the connection here, and as I'm running over, I catch a glimpse of Penelope disappearing behind this wall, and I see Roux, like, having faltered. I don't know what the mechanical, perhaps it's, like, helping or something, but I'm going to shout to Roux. And maybe I'm spending links here. I'm learning the system, so again. But I'm going to shout out to Roux. I know you think your emotions are putting up a wall, but there's a connection there. Trust it. Go for it.
Yeah,
I'm going to say these words of
damage.
encouragement do not require any sort of check. You made the check to get the information from Penelope. You are good to inspire however you'd like, and that with that encouragement, Roux, Penelope is still in danger.
I gotta fix it. She can't be in danger anymore. This is too fucked up. I think instead of... I want to do the attraction thing again, but instead of trying to pull her to me, I'm going to try to pull myself to her. Kind of situation.
Okay.
It's all about
Maybe it is the other attraction after all.
I'm going to kind of pull an audible here. If you would like, there are two options for what this check could be. You could either make a flow check again, or you could confess if you want to use this as sort of an admission of your own emotions, if you're accepting how you feel.
I like that a lot. I don't have confess, but I will. In this moment, confess.
I'm going to say... Yeah, Austin, do you want to...
I gained those links with Beets before. Can I spend one of them with anyone, or does it have to be the Beets?
I believe that... I think rules as written, it might have to be with that person, but I will say that with the legwork you've... Yeah, with the legwork you've done to make this connection, I'm going to say that you can absolutely use this for Roux. You guys have clearly made some sort of link of your own. You can spend those points here.
Okay, yeah, so I will spend one to give you grant 1 dice to allies action.
Cool.
Awesome.
I think now is also a good time to use some stress. It's a dire situation. I'm confessing. So I think I'll do that as well to put me at 3.
So you're rolling 3d6?
Yeah.
If I'm counting correctly? Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. I got a 5. There's a 5 there.
Not bad.
Woo!
Not bad at all.
Okay, 5's good. 5's good.
Yeah, 5's good. 5's
We
good.
take those here.
Yeah.
So many snaps today.
Do you say anything as you manage to navigate? It's a little bumpy at times. You know you're not quite so smooth in the approach, but with your singular focus heading towards Penelope, you do manage to navigate around all the various different pieces of landscape. Do you say anything to Penelope when you arrive to save her from danger?
I think Roux isn't very good with words. So I don't know if she would say anything, but the look on her face says it all, you know? It's just that, like, I'm here for you kind of a look, you know?
Oh.
Aw. You get the sense that Penelope picks up on it immediately. You look at her eyes and she's like, just through all the terror and fear, like, starry-eyed admiration for you. Through the saltine of a person, you sense that perhaps there is some flavor to going on. And
I like how...
I lost the metaphor halfway through. She's
I like how
clearly smitten.
This suggests that Roux has no secret identity
I was
because
gonna
she's
say,
immediately
or
like identifiable.
Penelope has just immediately clocked, like, oh, this is that girl I see. She's
It's a
dressed
very
roughly
early comics run Lois Lane Superman dynamic where like Lois Lane's like, yeah, that's my boyfriend Superman.
Obviously.
My girlfriend, the Rune Witch.
Her transformation doesn't change much. Like, she's kind of the same bitch. Like,
yeah. How secret your secret identities are is really up to you guys, the players, how you would like to play that. If you would like that to be kind of an open secret in the town, or you want it to be a bit more reserved and the magic keeps people from recognizing you despite your costumes, that is up to you.
A lot happened in that turn. I can't tell if turned over.
I'm gonna say
I think you get a shot here, Melanie, because I don't think you've done anything yet, really.
Gathered Penelope up in her arms, and they're flying their way back out. Melanie, I was gonna turn to you next anyway. Beets has set you up, is basically taken down this enemy. They are reeling from their crystal ball to the head, essentially. Beets is flexing. It's awesome. Melanie, all the elements are coming together. What would you like to try and finish off this monster? Would you like to go aid Aiva? Where is Melanie heading in this fight?
So I think I was going to be like, okay, perfect, this has been teed up, I'll like blast it, and then I hear Aiva get hurt, and one of my promises is that I would give my life for Aiva, and like I also have a promise that I'll protect Roux, but it's like, okay, Roux's got this, and also, oh, something's going on there, and then it's like, wait a minute. So I think my attention immediately swivels, and my transcendent ability is called How Dare You. When you strike back against someone who has harmed one of your friends, gain +1 effect. If your action succeeds, recover 1 stress. So I would like to just absolutely blast whichever one of those bird boys did the level 1 wound.
All right.
And so I don't know what kind of attack that would be. It could be Defy or Express, if that would be okay. I have a pip in each.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this could be a defy pretty easily. Cool. So you rush around the corner. You see Aiva is kind of stretched out across the ground, hand on the crystal as the birds are lunging for her, and you burst out. What does your magical attack in this instance look like?
This one, it's kind of like I've got the wand in hand, and I just draw a pentacle, and it like 3 more pentacles in increasing size spawn behind me, and just a laser blasts out the middle.
Very cool. Kind of like a railgun, kind of a laser cannon approach to witchy magic. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so I have a pip in Defy. I don't know what gain +1 effect means with the how dare you.
Yeah, so basically the risky is the median, so if I say something is risky, that just means it is you are in a difficult situation, and so you have to do things. Controlled is like it's a little easier, and desperate is harder. With the risky, if you are successful in this check, with your transcendent ability, you'll be more successful than you would have been. You will have an additional effect beyond just saving Aiva.
Cool. I'm also going to push it and just take an extra die for 2 points of stress, because if I succeed, I will lose 1 point of stress, and if I don't, I will be stressed anyway. Cool. So here we go. Oh my god, that's terrible! That's 2 1s and a 2!
No.
Yeah.
I am
Holy
so
fuck!
sorry, but
Drama.
things are about to go badly.
Are you about to kill Aiva?
You
Real.
fire out with this cannon, but because you are approaching the situation so quickly, like getting onto the scene, the future that you foresaw is not the one that's going to come to pass necessarily, and you swing wide with the cannon blast and completely miss the birds, who manage to reach Ava's arm and are clawing in. Normally you would suffer the harm, but I'm gonna say Aiva, if you could take a second first level harm.
Missing arm.
Not quite that severe, but you're definitely gaining a lot more wounds that will require some more significant attention than perhaps a band-aid and some antiseptic.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
God.
You also, because
what would I describe as the wound being, the harm being?
I'm gonna say flesh wound, just for lack of a better term.
Flesh wound, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And you should see 2 slots at the first tier. You're filling in both of those slots. Yeah.
Yep.
Red, you also get you're in a desperate position and you gain a complication. So essentially what's going to happen here is you are not in a good situation for whatever the next action you're going to take is. You fired this big gun metaphorically, and now you're kind of, you feel yourself a little bit like slower and more tired. You know, that was a lot of magic for you to expend all at once after running and physically exerting yourself. So you are not feeling up to defending yourself from possibly the immediate retaliation of these 2 bird brains. And in addition to that, the situation is worse because Aiva is now, although still clutching at the crystal, a little bit more down for the count, and neither of you have the ability to get out of there and get the crystal back to the monster to return it. I'm going to turn us to Roux. You are preoccupied with navigating Penelope out of this danger for the immediate moment, as sharing your knowing, loving looks and flying. There's like romantic music playing in the background. This is where, if appropriate, a rose would come flying out of nowhere, and they'd be like, "Oh man, by your art is in the eye of the beholder, but you're the only one beholden in mine," and then you would be like inspired or whatever. So you're preoccupied.
Yeah.
Musical sting. You guys are busy. Beets and Cass, though, you have Beets. I'm gonna say your attention's pretty much on this monster. You feel pretty confident based on your last attack that you can take this guy down back to their roughly human form. You think that like a couple good hits, and if there's one person who can do good hits, it's Beets, could really destroy this guy. And Cass, you note that 2 of your teammates are missing.
All right, so I see Roux go to Penelope, and I am like, all right, 1 friend assisted. I turn over to Beets. Beets is good, okay. What else is new? Just clobbering the art professor. Okay, turn
Beets
over.
Beets is taking out a lot of aggression about that art grade.
Why can't I pass this class?
Turn over, look and watch Melanie just railgun blast Aiva. The birds scatter out of the way. Oh, okay. I'm gonna start hoofing it to that side of the field.
Awesome.
holy crap, I have so little things to do. You guys coming in like, I'm going to use this ability. I'm like, let me see.
I'm gonna say,
I can
Cass,
understand
while
how
you're-
people feel.
While you're running over there, Beets, is there anything you would like to do to this art teacher?
Yeah, I actually had a quick question.
Yeah, of course.
What constitutes a desperate roll?
If you are like overreaching your abilities, or the circumstances are so stacked against you that things are especially bad. So I would say right now you're pretty safely away from a lot of desperate rolls, at least in fighting this cube monster. You guys have really handled the situation.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create like a crystal bat and a bunch of crystal softballs and hit them up like fly balls so
Hell
they come back
yeah.
down like comets into the monster. I'm just doing specials. I'm just hitting specials over here.
I love this. I love everything
Yeah.
about this. It's a catcher's
I'm
nightmare.
getting my
and that's
highlight
what makes it
reel.
perfect.
S
Yeah.
rank. S rank.
There's like a
You guys are like trying to do something. I'm getting a highlight reel going. I'm like, no, I'm
Times
getting the
2,
style
times 4,
point.
times 16.
yeah. Could I have you, Beets? I'm gonna have you make. Honestly, this is a controlled defy roll. You are a master of the situation. It's really just to see how badly do you beat your art teacher's ass.
I got a 4 this time.
You got a 4?
Hey.
Awesome. Yeah, you're special after special. It makes it a little bit more difficult for Roux and Penelope to navigate out of the field, but overall, you were
We're too busy making good
Its own
at
kind
each
of
other,
fastball
it's fine.
special.
yeah.
Just playing that like the Tony Hawk trick sound effect over and over again.
It's you're solidly defeating this. I'm gonna say that Beets, this effort by you, combined with Roux and Penelope's escape, is going to be enough to defeat the monstrous form of this art teacher. So you watch as the barrage of solid rock rains from the sky, carefully
look like
placed.
softballs.
But they look like softballs. It's a bunch of like topaz softballs and like citrine, all very carefully color coordinated. Smash into this clown. You see more instances of that like cube burst effect all off of it as the impacts hit it, and slowly but surely you almost feel like the paint is peeling off. It almost like a second two-dimensional effect as it like rolls down as the creature's defeated, and you reveal your art teacher underneath kind of like floats and collapses back on the ground. She is like sepia toned. There's like no real color to her whatsoever. Something fundamental about her is still missing. Though you have defeated the immediate danger of this cube monster. Well done, Beets.
You look different.
And it is here that we're going to join Cass as she rounds the corner and sees her two friends in rather dire straits facing down these familiar foes.
There is a second Aiva following behind.
Forgot about second Aiva.
Stealthy second Ava.
Oh, there's more going on than I understand. Okay, so Aiva is fucked up on the ground. There's a stealthy second Aiva, and Melanie is in what sort of condition?
Melanie just overclocked and is temporarily stunned, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, you're a little. You're
Looks
not. I
wiped.
wouldn't say stunned, but you've used a lot of magic
We
all
know
at
how
once,
Red
so you
hates
kind of need
stunned.
to like charge back up. You can still move fine, but you can't release a big magical effect like that for at least another like set of action.
I
I
look
see
tired.
your like glow go away as you gotta recharge, and I see these crows. Are crows?
Birds.
Bird brains.
Bird brains.
It was never described. Okay, I'm gonna run up, and I'm going to reach into my pocket. I'm gonna pull out a handful of the acorns I was collecting before. I wave my hand over. Green energy. Doesn't do anything crazy. They just all crack in half. And you see, falling out of the split open acorns into my hand, acorn weevil larvae that
Oh
were
my
buried in
God.
there. And I'm
That
going
was the
to
weevil.
raise up over my head, and I'll give a... Birds! Grubs!
This can only go so poorly or
Iconic.
so
So you're.
well.
Correct me if I'm
Just
wrong.
holding up grubs in my hand.
Is this like the Is it Shrek the Third where they got Snow White running into the front gate and it's
I don't know, dude.
it's a song.
Wait, are
never
you
mind.
trying to like lure the bird guys in?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the birds off Ava.
Yeah, get their attention
Awesome.
on you with
Yes.
nasty grubs.
Brilliant.
I'm gonna say that this is because they are still.
What kind of check is it to distract birds with?
I'm gonna say that this is desperate
Sophia?
difficulty because they are still humanoid, and you are dealing with the ramifications of Melanie and Aiva's limited successes. And I'm gonna say. It's not quite empathize because you're not really trying to understand their emotions, as it were. You know what?
I'll tell you right off the bat, we're marking 2 stress for this one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this is a defy. I think that you are showing tremendous courage in order to help your friends in the face of what is a very mortal danger. So go ahead and roll defy. I'm gonna say this is a desperate action.
Great, okay. So I have no points in defy, which means I'm rolling 1 dice, but I'm rolling an additional dice because I marked 2 stress.
Yes. Does anyone have any links with casts that they would like to utilize to help give them an additional die on this roll?
Who did I get my links with?
Dahlia.
Yeah,
I have links, but I'm kind of far. I don't know.
You are busy. Yeah, you are busy. All right. Here we go. We got big ass dice. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Get that for the ASMR real quick. Okay.
Yes.
I rolled 2 1s.
Welcome to my life, bitch!
Oh, Cass.
I rolled snake eyes.
The dice are rolling so well for you guys in the first half
This
of this.
timeline
I'm so
wants
sorry.
Aiva dead.
I would argue that 2 1s does draw the birds to me. one might argue.
We got like a bell curve of successes here.
Yeah.
It's the
Allow
horseshoe
me-
It's the
theory of
horseshoe.
rolls.
Yeah.
Allow me to read you
It worked. Oh
what
no.
rolling a 1 on a desperate action happened.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
It's the worst
It's bad.
outcome. You suffer
Oh,
severe
you don't
harm, a
say.
serious complication occurs, or you lose this opportunity for action.
Okay. I would like to, because I'm kind of point blank.
I do have a thing. But
okay.
you go.
I
Or-
want to protect Cass from the consequences of this.
So do I.
Yes, but I have a thing, because this is what my playbook is good for. It's called Here For You. I may expend my special armor to resist consequences suffered when you protect an ally, or give +1 die to someone else's action.
Okay.
So if I do
Damn,
my
I
little,
almost took an ability that would have given everyone a bonus to saving me. There's one where there's the damsel option where everyone gets really good at saving their
God,
ass,
you really
but-
are the Chibiusa, aren't you?
All right. I'm going to say that is sufficient to protect Cass from the immediate onslaught of the birds. Melanie, you're able to, you can't conjure up any magic, but you're able to, reach an arm out and quite literally, trip one of them on the way. But because this was a failure on a desperate, there is still some harm to your companion.
Okay, wait, how does protection work then? Because I thought it was taking the bullet, but let me just look this up.
Oh, sure. This could be a good situation to kind of double up on protective measures, just because it was fundamentally a
Protect
critical
their allies
failure.
and resist a consequence on their behalf, provided that it makes sense in the fiction. In these cases, the protecting character must take on the consequence and will suffer whatever adverse action would have befallen whoever they are protecting.
So
Yeah.
instead of what is it, Cass taking on the full,
the
how
full-
much harm was it? A severe consequence? A severe harm?
Yeah,
the
instead of
worst
Cass taking on
outcome.
the severe harm, whichever one of us does the protection can do it, and I have an ability that will allow me to resist the consequence if I take it onto myself. So,
What does resisting mean?
it's a good question.
When a protagonist suffers a consequence that they deem unacceptable, they can choose to resist it.
Which looks like
Simply
it
tell the
reduces
director,
one.
no, I'd like to resist that. We could have done this that whole time.
I think it reduces it a level because the example is a level 2 harm gets reduced down to level 1 by spending the armor.
Gotcha. Okay.
But your character suffers stress for it, I see.
Yes. All right. I'm going to say that works. You are able to protect Cass from the harm.
All right,
This would have
lay it on
been
me, sister.
a pretty severe level of harm. Mauled by birds feels like it's not an appropriate tag to throw on there, but you would be gaining a level 3 mauled by birds as the two go into a feeding frenzy on the literal Feast of Weevils. Cass, you managed to avoid the worst of this as the Feast of Weevils is happening, as you're pushed back onto your tuchus as your friend takes the blow. Melanie, you have suffered a severe harm. If you'd like to attempt to resist this, you can, but you do take stress for it.
Sure. And it also looks like I can expend my 1 pip of armor to resist, but,
I don't know if you can resist twice.
So it doesn't stack?
I don't believe it stacks, no.
Then I think I will just do it this time, because a level 3 seems bad.
Awesome. So for resistance roll, I'm going to say that this is an attempt...
No, I'm sorry. It's more interesting if I just try to roll and see what happens. I will do the roll and see what happens. So how does this work? Sorry.
Okay, so resistance is based on a specific attribute of yours, so that's the sun, moon, and stars, based on what you are trying to resist. I'm going to say that this is an attempt to resist violence and fear, so that's going to be your sun stat.
Oh, thank God. That's the one I have 2 in.
Great, so you get to add the 2 die to this. So you're going to take 6 stress minus your highest die result.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll roll then. The highest is a 6.
Ooh.
Great.
So no stress.
So no stress.
So you managed to negate many of the consequences.
But not
You're still
them
being
entirely,
mauled
it
by
says.
birds, though, which is not an ideal situation.
Right. So what harm level do I take?
It was going to be 3, I believe now it's 2.
Okay. So that's -1 die.
Let me double check that on the resistance rules.
Is it -1 die if both of them are filled out, or if only one of them is filled out?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it's just for 1. Let me double check that. We're going to check some rules.
Got that real dramatic, I'll dive you out of the way, and then get my back absolutely obliterated in slow motion anime shot.
The white background with like the black blood spatter. Yeah.
Yeah. You know that one bit where Tuxedo Mask gets stabbed and it's like upside down and in silhouette and it's like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh, it really is Tuxedo Mask. I can't believe it.
I don't want to negate this because this is like a very powerful moment, but I also have a promise that I will die for Melanie.
I'm not about to die. I'm just dramatically. I took a hit. I blasted you with a laser. Let me have this.
So Red, you do have the -1d6 to action rolls from just having anything filled on level 2 harm.
I see.
You gotta understand. One of my other flaws is that I can't admit fault or ask for help. So even though the laser is my fault, I have to deal with that shit in other ways.
Yeah. So as it stands, you guys have, through the efforts of Beets, vanquished the big cubist monster. Roux, you have successfully snagged Penelope. I'm going to say you guys are just landing at the side of the field now. She is safely out of harm's way. But all is not well. Aiva and Melanie and Cass are in pretty mortal peril as they tussle over this essence crystal and this bug feast with the bird brains who you guys have fought many times before. And you know that despite their goofy exterior, they do have a significant amount of power to have become Morgan Le Fay second in command. So that's the situation as it stands. You guys know from experience that even just defeating the monster is not enough. You do need to return that crystal to them if they are ever to go back to their normal villager life. And so, the peril has not passed. She's at least 2 to 3 of your grades depend on this woman going back to her original villager life. So if nothing else, your academic stake in it is pretty high.
She'll never understand my thesis without her creativity returned.
Maybe she'll like the monochromatic, though.
It's true.
The floor is open to anyone at this point if there is anything you would like to do to stop these birds. Aiva and Melanie and Cass are in the most immediate danger, but Roux and Beets, you are not out of this. You're welcome to go cruising over there if there is some way that you would like to help your friends out.
Can Beets do something reckless?
Of course Beets can do something reckless.
Do something reckless. Do something reckless.
So Beets makes a crystalline discus in her hand and just fucking hucks it. Just straight at them. And I'm like, I'll probably hit the birds.
Great.
Okay, so my reckless ability.
Yes.
When I'm hoping that we can flavor it this way. When I make a desperate roll, I can choose to get a +1 die for a roll if I take a -1 die to resistance against consequences.
Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely, we
I'll
can
do
do
that, and then I'm also gonna take a stress. So now or 2 stress. So I'm at 4 stress. So is it defy again? Am I rolling defy again?
I'm gonna say that this is flow in this case.
Okay.
Just because you are, it's more about aiming than it is
No, absolutely.
standing strong in the face of danger.
In that case, I'm gonna roll 3 dice this time.
Oh, very nice. And this is a desperate roll, so the consequences are higher for failure.
Oh god.
Yes, 4, 3, and a 6.
Oh,
Nice.
awesome. All right,
not getting
6.
beamed by a second.
You do it.
Oh god, friendly fire was turned on?
Second stealthy Ava's
What?
just like, ugh.
The second Ava is also you see this second Ava is also like she's like creeping behind, and then she like winces in pain, and then an arm wound appears on her arm,
No!
and then she winces in pain again, and then a bigger flesh wound appears. She's like, what is happening?
Well, that nightmare is happening, and as momentarily everyone is distracted by the abject horror, from way downfield, flying over the storage shed.
Called shots.
Perfect aim, slamming right into the side of, I'm gonna say, Clamor's face, the very normally stoic one, now in bug frenzy. This discus goes, and like a cartoon smear, the bird just goes flying across the field. You have managed to take out at least one half of this duo and
Sick.
draw
Take that,
them
bird
off of
breath.
their friend.
I hit a
Yeah!
pose.
Most valuable player.
Yeah.
MVP. Also, is everyone keeping track of how many actions they have taken while they're transcending?
Yeah, I'm tapped.
Yeah. Beets, you do an incredibly cool move. You hit your one-liner, and as you do, the crystal form around you like builds up and shatters, and you return to your normal self. You're still in this. You're welcome to do things, but you can no longer use your transcended abilities, and you can only
could punch a
transcend
bird.
once a session. You could punch a bird. No one's gonna stop you. You can try. You can try and punch a bird. That is one half of the bird brains dealt with. There's still I forgot what I named him for a second there. You've still got Squawk to deal with.
Squawk.
Squawk is still is momentarily distracted by his compatriot getting thrown away, and it breaks him from the bug frenzy a little bit, and he's standing amidst Aiva, Melanie, and Cass. Is there anything anyone would like to do to deal with Squawk?
Yeah, I have one more action I can do before I'm out
Hell
of
yeah.
the count, like everyone else. So I think I'll like set Penelope down and be like, "Hi, and then just kind of like run over to where they are to go help out. And I think I want to use, let's see, like a, what's a good, like a repel rune maybe, to try and like push this bird into a wall maybe, you know? Yay!
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a normal risky difficulty, just because you are still in combat. And I'm gonna say that this is a defy roll for you. You're
Alright.
standing strong in the face of this danger and trying to defend your friends.
Can I use one of my links to give you +1 die on that?
How are you assisting? What is the move that Melanie makes to help with this?
Little glowy target.
I'll allow it. You could spend.
Thanks.
It's 2 links per.
Does that count as an action, or is it just a thing?
It's just a thing that you do.
Okay. Because I only have 1 left before I de-transform.
Yep. So Roux, go ahead and make that with the additional d6 from Melanie.
So lucky I got that other d6 because I have a 6. It is a 6.
Nice.
We did it. Ladies and
You are
gentlemen.
able
We did
to
it, gamers.
you push that rune and you hit the rappel, and Squawk goes flying, not of his own accord, backwards and tumbles ass over tea kettle right into into Clamor, and the two stand up real quickly. We'll get you next time, and they fly off into the night, licking their wounds and getting a couple bugs in the process. Ladies, you have successfully attained the crystal, but the danger has not passed. The monster still needs to be reunited. You still need to return to your art teacher and replace her essence. I'm going to say that this is, for whoever would like to make it, going to be empathize check. You have done this many times before. You need to connect with whatever is missing from that person to help them reunite with themselves.
Aiva offers the crystal to like one of the art majors.
Yeah, so I had empathize, but it's not with people, it's with non-human things. It's my stranger. Yeah, it's called Things Feel. I can empathize.
If anyone has an argument for a different kind of ability check that they would like to use, I'm willing to hear that out as well, but this is what it would be.
Wait, before we do that, does Cass have empathize? Yes, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Cass is like feeling real bad after that went really badly, and then Mel had to like sacrifice herself to take the killing blow from those birds. So I agree that Cass makes sense to do it, but I don't know if Cass is in a headspace to act at this moment.
If Melanie has the option, I think she would offer Cass the crystal because Mel has no empathy and knows this.
Well,
so
maybe we can check our way through this. Cass, I think if you were to confess how you're feeling, to maybe gain support from your friends, this could be a way for you to build yourself up to be ready to make that check. Or if someone else would like to empathize with Cass to try and provide support, these are options.
I'll do a confess here, I think. Mel, if you offer it to me,
yeah.
She's like looking really dejected here, and she looks over at the art teacher she doesn't know, and she'll say, "I can't do it. I don't even know them. What am I gonna connect to them over?" Looks around to everyone, like waiting for a good response.
I was 50% paying attention in class today.
Cass, you connect to the rest of us, and we don't really have anything in common. I mean, you're B team, I'm A team. We don't really.
You're JV, I'm varsity.
Yeah, but we still work together and get things done, right?
She looks over at everyone's saved. Like, it went badly, but it turned out okay.
Yeah.
And she'll say, "Okay. Alright, I'll try it. Is there some sort of, because I do have empathize, confess. Should I roll something for confess? I don't know what sort of benefit that
I'm
would
gonna
give me here.
say roll a risky confess. So this is just a standard confess check.
You know what? Danger's not getting any higher. It's okay. Let's mark 2 more. Stress. We're gonna roll 3 dice here, and we're gonna roll different dice than the last ones. Dice made out of the bone of a cow. Don't fail me. That is... so, 2 of them were cocked. 2 6s.
Oh, that's a critical success!
I was like, I rolled 2 out of the 3 were cocked, but 1 was a 6. So I was like, okay, we're fine. And then I rolled...
This is amazing. Cass, you have never felt more confident. You're basking in the support of your friends and the words of Beets and Melanie, and you're realizing that, yeah, you can do this. Sure, you've had some downfalls, and it's tough to be the one on the team who has not yet come into their own in their magical powers, but you have something deep inside that you don't need a transformation to express, and that is your support, your care, and your kindness to the rest of the world. To everything that lives within it, and you are able to take the crystal. And I'm gonna say make this empathize check, and go ahead and take an extra die from me just for the hell of it, because that was a success.
All right, so that's gonna be 3 dice on my empathize. As a result, I'll go over. I don't know you, but I know you care a lot about this school. I know you care a lot about the people in it, like we all do. And I promise, Beets is going to try so much harder on her assignments from now on that I will roll.
Beets in the background.
That is a 6.
Oh,
awesome.
6, 4, 4.
Cass, you have empathized with many vanquished foe before, but something about the circumstances of this one, the support you've gotten directly from your friends, the lengths that you were going to go to protect those you cared about, and now the ability that you show to make a connection with someone who don't really know, but who you seem to have come to understand. I'm going to say that this is technically not rules as written for your handbook, but as you expend this mystical power, you find yourself surrounded by a kind of like amber glow. And Cass, if you would describe your transformation and transcendence for me, that would be great.
I think that there's like, in the transformation sequence, she's enclosed inside of like a bunch of leaves folding around each other.
Hell yeah.
And it's, yes. Okay, so all of my magical girl transformation touchstones are Ben 10.
Yeah.
Which are fucked up body horror things usually. But yeah, I imagine it's like her silhouette. And the growth out of the clothes she's wearing, the growth of the outfit, which is witch's hat, but it's really floppy. Nice. Just like really wide brim, really floppy, and almost like these like big coverall overall things, but you know, the short shorts, and like bring them in, make it cutesy. Lots of warm fall colors. It's not green, even though she's the green witch and the leaves close around her. It's all like browns, oranges, and yellows and things like that. Yeah, she emerges from there and touches the amulets. I will go ahead and mark Hero's Destiny, which also gives me the ability Beacon.
Ooh.
Which is once during my transcendence, I may uplift my allies with a speech. So as I place the, I'm gonna stack the deck here, stack the trigger pile with a bunch of actions I'm taking. Place the amulet on the art teacher, and as it works, I assume as the sepia drains from her, I will give a speech, which is to say, we all know that we have our similarities and our differences. And we all know that every time we go up against our foes, we stand a chance to get hurt. But each one of us is willing to take that blow for another. And whatever Morgan Le Fay is planning, whatever great engine she's building, it won't stand a chance against us. And everyone gets to they get to act as if they've spent a link. So you can recover 2 stress, for example, or ignore 1 harm.
Amazing.
Ignore
Very
1 harm?
timely.
Hell yeah. Is that 1 level of harm or just 1 harm?
It says spend, when you spend links on allies, those things that you can do is what you can do when I give my beacon speech, so.
Oh.
I'm going to ignore my harm so my ankle's better.
I'm also going to ignore my harm.
Wow, my ankle's feeling better.
Whew.
Very timely speech as you watch the essence of this art teacher. Her inspiration returns to her and she regains her normal color palette. She's left that sepia pallor and gets up very slowly like, oh my head, gosh, it looks insane around here. And looking around, you do see that the field damage did not revert when you defeated the monster, and the rugby field is in a terrible state. You guys are probably going to have to try and fix the rugby field if you want the big game to go off without a hitch. But before we turn to your field fixing efforts, Roux, Penelope kind of like jogs over to you a little bit like shyly, like, hi, Roux. Wow. I was gonna invite you to come watch the game tomorrow, but I feel like you kind of beat me to the whole big moment thing. Sorry, I'm bad with people.
Oh, they're
She's
perfect for each other.
Standing there like
So beautiful.
like wide-eyed, just like.
That explains the doodles she's been doing in class. Slightly too loud.
There's no doodles, that didn't happen.
Ava's Family Guy death post in the
I think Mel has like tried to scoop you up if possible.
No, I think when Aiva gives Melanie the crystal, she kind of opens up a little like rift in time, steps through, and then the second Aiva just kind of reveals herself.
What? Wait.
Which one's the real one?
Box this?
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't think I'm doing just like looking for something to look at, like she's looking at her schedule, like, yeah, I don't think I have anything to do, so like if you, I mean, like you wanted to, so like I guess I totally could.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you wanted to come and cheer me on, we could maybe get like Gatorade during halftime or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
The most awkward people.
Just two saltines of people, two
Yeah.
crackers in a box.
One of them has glitter on it.
Yeah. There's a. I'm not gonna make you roll anything for this. This is very clearly a confession from Penelope in their way. There's the beginning of potentially something very sweet here. If it's something that Roux is interested in pursuing.
No, not at all.
It seems that your heroic actions today have helped Penelope get over a little bit of her own shyness, so hopefully the two of you can continue this going forward. But in the immediate fallout of this, as we enter the last little phase of the game here, and I think this will be pretty quick, I would love to know how you guys are fixing the field for the big game, and then at the very, very end of this, I will be calling from just a fortune roll from Beets to see how the game goes. So, magical gals, how would you like to repair this field? Is it good old classic gumption? Does anyone have a magic power that they want to use to warp the terrain? What are we doing?
How often can we use our abilities? Not the transcendent abilities, but just like our special abilities.
If it's a transcendent ability, only when you're transcended. If it is not, you can use it anytime. There should be.
But I have to expend my special armor. Dang, I was going to do the saw it coming thing again to just produce like 10 Aivas to help clean up the field.
That is very funny. Noir, I will allow you to
out.
do that if you would like, because I think it's conceptually
Which means that
very
Aiva is working like 10 times longer than everyone else.
No.
I'm just gonna get the roots to repair everything, like all connect
Yeah.
back to each other and flatten
Nice.
everything out.
Cass
pull
Yeah,
some
newly
back
freshly
in.
transcended.
transformed. We're
Yeah.
all on our last action. My only idea was like, I'm gonna use here for you to try and make Ava work slightly less hard. I'm
Beets is
protecting you from
attempting-
yourself.
Beets is attempting to outwork the magic. Physically, I can do this.
Punching the ground flat.
This sounds
Yeah.
like, to me, this is actually going to be a classic teams role. I'm going to say,
Yay.
Beets, you are the leader on this because this is your field. You know the territory. Beets, what kind of
But
ability
he
would
doesn't
you
know the territory.
most likely like to use for this as the outsider? Do you think maybe this is...
I was thinking Express, because this is like my
Yeah.
field that I play on, you know?
Absolutely. You are expressing a love of the game that no one can hope to match as you lead everyone else in this. And so for this role, everyone is going to roll, and you are attempting to get at least 1 6. So
I've
everyone is
got a
rolling
4 and a
Express.
5.
And it's
Amazing.
our express?
Express, yeah.
Okay.
I got a 3.
And what happens if we roll
I
a
also
1?
got a
It's
3.
bad.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
I take
Getting
strategy.
smacked by
I rolled
birds
one.
again.
I rolled a 2. I rolled a 2. I just wanted to ask.
I got a 4.
None of us got a 6.
Not a single
not a single
6.
6. So the highest was a 5 then?
Yeah.
That's still pretty good. You guys managed to... It's not the flawless field that it had been before the attack, but you think that with your personal awareness of where things went wrong and your knowledge of rugby, the sport, you were able to craft a very regulation field that no one's going to be too upset about playing this match on. Some of the bleachers have seen better days, but the field is ready for the real combat of the game. And we're going to kind of we're going to fast forward through time. The day comes, Roux and Penelope awkwardly back up and part ways very slowly, only to see each other again at the game. Aiva, there's so many of you now. There's so many Aivas. Melanie, you are nursing your bird wounds. You go put some band-aids on your arms. And Cass, you have transcended for the first time. How does it feel to have transcended for the first time, Cass?
Like she's part of the group.
Yeah.
Like she's not gonna ask whether it was a game or practice ever again.
Amazing.
God.
And
And we have the Weevils to thank.
we have the wheels to thank. I would love... we're at the big game now. Pennants flying. What are the school colors of Magnolia University?
It's got to be green and something, right?
Maple
Like-
and green.
Maple and green.
Interesting.
Maple
What
and
color is
green
maple?
flags
Like a-
flying.
Like a light brown.
Yeah,
Our
okay. I
colors
see
are
the vision.
brown and green.
I mean,
Yeah.
Where
I was gonna offer like maybe a magenta in there. I don't know.
every school has a magenta.
I know.
We're just shy of Green Bay, and those are good colors.
Your school mascot Sappy is there. It's a big it's a guy in a tree suit, and it's got these little dangly pieces of like sap hanging off of the costume. And it's notorious that rival schools will come and try to like hang other things on the costume. Like they'll put little like bird ornaments or like literally like Christmas ornaments on the tree.
A tree leaking sap sucks as a mascot so hard. We deserve to get trashed on.
Coolest mascot I've ever heard
We
of.
already had to fight this guy
Bugs.
turned
You
evil.
suck. You're not very
More
good.
like stink bugs, am I right?
Hey, that was really good.
Fuck 'em
Everyone
up,
is
fuck 'em
at-
up. Stink bugs suck.
Everyone is here at the big game, licking their wounds. Beets, you are on the field with Penelope. You guys are in the huddle getting ready for the game to begin. Penelope had passed by the bleachers, and Roux, before the game would begin, given you a little, like, gone to go, like, a little finger guns, and then gotten nervous about it, and kind of just in, like, a little, like, wave hello. And you can see that they were blushing ferociously, and as they turned away, there was this look of fierce, I have to win this game, on their face. So you
Let's
think
go.
you're contributing a lot to this game effort, Roux.
Penelope is in a sports anime, and the rest of us are in Sailor Moon.
Penelope is fully in like Ice Shield 21, and the rest of you are in a different thing entirely. Cass, Aiva, Melanie, and Roux, what are you guys doing in the stands? Are you do you have any special cheers? Are you just running refreshments? What is your role in this big game day?
Cheering furiously.
Excellent.
Ava has bet Melanie that she knows how the game is going to end.
Well, Melanie has already read the card and has also bet that she knows how the game is going to end.
People are no fun sometimes.
This is the most fun. Do you want to try? Here, take a card. Any card.
I'm gonna watch. No.
No, I insist.
I'm glad it works for you.
What was it this time, Melanie?
Oh, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but shouldn't you already know?
Well, you pick a different card every time.
Well, just for the record, they're both very promising.
That settles it. I'm gonna go sit up over there.
I think Roux may or may not have spent the whole night making a bunch of like posters for our
Hey.
team.
Hell
but
yeah.
isn't holding one up herself, like had gone early to the stands to leave them there and then left and then came back in so that people like would grab them and be like, oh cool. I can't,
Surely
I
one of the
can't.
posters has to be a beautifully rendered piece, like portrait of Penelope,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah.
like on the back of the
No.
paper that you used to write the sign and you didn't notice. So it's like, oh, what a beautiful portrait! Woo!
Yeah, you're looking out over the crowd, and it's months of like, break those twigs, let's go sappers, kind of like, there's pictures of like stick bugs that look with like a one single teardrop, and then amongst all of this like stadium cartoonery, there is just one like one of Leonardo da Vinci's notebook level drawing. Sketch of Penelope's face, and you do see Penelope spots it, and she does blush furiously once again, the determination returning to her face. But yeah, you guys are ready, you're with the crowd, the vibes are good, no one seems to have noticed that the field is a little bit askew. Beets, I would love you to make just a straight fortune roll for me to determine the outcome of the big game.
True fear.
I believe in you.
I got a 4.
Awesome. Anything over a 3 and you guys win. You guys, it's a close victory. It's a hard-won victory. Beets, you're a little tired from your scuffle last night. You know
I get
Penelope's having
ejected
a tough
early
time.
because I had
You spent some time in
break their nose.
I looked up rugby terms because I was like, oh, I'll talk about rugby in this. You get sent to the sin bin.
That's not
Yeah.
a rugby thing. That's just a game thing. We call it sin bin in hockey too.
Yeah.
Well, you
I'm gonna put you in what's known as the penalty box.
You get sent to the sin bin, but you're still able to guide your team to victory. It's hard won. The stick bugs put up a good fight, but the sappers you guys have been training for this all season, and you're ready to defend your honor. And you show them how deep your roots go. And as you guys take a victory lap, everyone storms the field. People are raised up. Roux, Penelope seeks you out, and she's like goes up to give you a huge hug and just scoops you up and like lifts you into the air and spins you all around. Everyone's cheering. We leave the scene of total victory, and we pan to the clouds into a much smokier, cloudier area as the darkness descends upon the land, and we see the somewhat beat-up and bug-ridden birds of Squawk and Clamor crash land in front of Morgan, and as she picks up her reprimanding of them. "You fools, you've once again failed me. How am I supposed to succeed with such incompetent henchmen? I'd swear you were newly hatched." And as we watch these two get reprimanded even further, you guys bask in the glory of your victory, and so ends this episode of the Heartwood Coven and their various adventures, title TBD. Congratulations, my magical girls! Woo! You have vanquished
Aiva
your
and I both
foes.
bet on us winning because I feel like that's what must have happened.
I feel like there's a moment where Aiva and Melanie at the same time said, "I knew it."
Yes. 9 of Wands, resilience, grit, and a last stand.
Incredible.
Hey,
So annoying watching any game with you guys.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this little foray into a beloved genre of mine. Thank you to my lovely players who were also wonderful and magical. I hope that all of your days are filled with as much magic as your performances brought to us today. A special extra thank you to Tanlynn and Adam from 5GMs for joining us on this episode. Be sure to check out 5GMs in a Trenchcoat for even more TTRPG goodness. All of that is linked down below. We are going to have our regular season coming back soon. Shout out to PAX Unplugged and the Common Cold for delaying this bonus episode so long. But January Open and Shut returns, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy this magical girl business. Thank you again, Tanlynn and I almost called you Beets, and Adam.
I am Beets.
Beets is such a character.
Beets is character. And I think the only appropriate way to end this is to all try once again in sync to say Heartwood Coven. I think that's the only right thing to do. So on the count of 5, 5, 4,
Heartwood
3,
Coven.
2, 1.
Heartwood
Coven.